at school or airport, doing aircraft maintenance and flying on an aircraft.
And what inspires and
how was it? It was good. I ate my body weight in turkey. I had a real good Thanksgiving. Then I had to be back here yesterday morning to do Joe and Dan America, and then Zarlingo was in, and then I'm here today. I got a couple shows to do tomorrow, and then I got Monday and Tuesday off. So, and then I should be back on Wednesday.
Specialist Samuel Reese of the United States Army
Okay.
Officer, thankful for men and women like
Just let me know.
On behalf of all of us back here at home, God's blessings to you, your wife, along with your family. Oh, and please pass along our thanks to all of your family for their service. And we honor you, Specialist Samuel Reese, as our hero of the week.
Thank you very much. I love what I do.
Serving God and America, this is the Crawford Broadcasting Company.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king on it.
Okay.
0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And it is Drive Radio. I am your host, John Rush. In studio with me today is Dorsey Johnson from Arvada West. Welcome, Dorsey.
Morning.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
I didn't eat my body weight in turkey.
No, Matt was saying that earlier. Those of you on YouTube could actually hear that. And I didn't eat my body weight in turkey either, but still had a good Thanksgiving.
I think I probably ate too much. You got to nibble as you work your way through.
Yeah, especially when you're the cook. You typically have to, at least I do. You have to taste test to make sure things are good. And in that process of doing that, you eat too much. But anyways, we'd love to hear from you. How was your Thanksgiving? Questions, anything you've got going on, I'd love to hear it. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. We've got a lot in store for you today. First off is the big car show going on. Started actually yesterday, going on today. It'll finish out tomorrow. We've got 3 more pairs of tickets to give away. So 6 tickets total. We'll do them in pairs. Larry, I need you to come up with a good question for the day. So Larry on the other side of the glass, he'll come up with another question for today so we can give away some more tickets. I'd love to hear from you along those lines. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute as soon as Larry figures out what we're going to do for the contest today. But we'll give away 6 more tickets. And we'll have some folks calling in. I think, I don't know exactly who's going to call in from over there. I was going to have a roving reporter today roll around, but my dad's there, my uncle's there. I think there's enough old cronies running around, Dorsey, that they can call in and tell us how the show is.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I had to clear my throat there. Call us. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Anything you want to talk about, we'd love to hear from you after the show today. Our show today, I should say, Sportsman's of Colorado comes up right after we go off air, which I told Scott Watley, we're, Dorsey and I both being, kind of that hunter, sportsman, et cetera, come in at the very end of the show, and we'll talk about what his guests are going to be. But he's got some good things lined up for you right after we go off air today, and then he comes on air. So, yeah, by all means, stay with us through that last little segment. We'll have Scott talking about hunting and fishing and all the good stuff. And Scott's always got great guests. I don't know where he digs all of his guys up from, but he's always got great guests. So I said, listen, Dorsey's an avid, waterfowl guy, which you are.
I've been out and tried out the pheasants already and some quail and stuff like that.
That would be upland birds.
Yeah.
So upland birds, waterfowl.
Nothing like watching your dog point a big rooster that flies right out in front of you and the dog retrieves it.
That's a good day. And I'll agree with Dorsey on that. That's a good day. All right, we've got one question that I said rather than sending a big long email back, I'd just go ahead and get it answered right off the bat. So again, lines are open. Call us. We'll get your questions answered. 303-477-5600. So 303-477-5600. Let me get this up here. So get my email up. This comes from Randy over in Littleton. So Dorsey, he's got a 2005 Buick LeSabre, 250,000 miles. He's wondering about the estimated cost for maintenance to the front end, or should he start looking for another car? He wants to change the shocks, struts, ball joints, whatever else would need to go with that. Do we suggest CV joints also? Just wondering what a ballpark cost would be, and if I need to take that money and put it towards another car. He says, I like not having payments, which, by the way, Randy, I would agree with you. And the car is running great. He just needs some advice. Also, guess that should have the transmission filter changed, flushed, etc. He's been running synthetic for the past 4 years. The only problem is it seems to be able to leak out of the oil sensor, which that's probably due to the age of the vehicle itself, and that can be changed. It's not the threads, but the inner portion, and that, again, that sensor just needs changed out, and those happen. That has nothing to do with the oil itself, just the age. First of all, Dorsey, what do you think of that vehicle? Should he put the money that he would spend? Well, first question, how much money do you think he'd spend redoing the front end on the car? Let's start there.
I would say you could, depending on what you do with your struts and how many parts are worn out, you could easily spend a couple $1,000.
That's what I was thinking too. So Dorsey and I are right on track there.
When you get to that mileage and that age with the struts, you want to use modules, and modules are going to cost you a little more, but you're going to recover spring height.
That's right. Spring height and everything. So your ride height will come back, etc. And by the time you do CV axles, etc., which I wouldn't do just joints. I would do complete half shafts, they call them. It wouldn't take much to put a couple $1,000s into that. Now, the question you have to ask is, you're 250,000. How much more life is left in that car? Probably another 50 pretty easily. When you starts getting to 300 plus, that's when it's getting a little dicey.
Right.
Is it worth, question for you, Randy, more than anything, is it worth putting a couple $1,000s into that car, driving it another 40, 50,000 miles? That's a question only you can answer. I don't know a lot of that would come down to what's the interior look like, how are the shapes, the condition of the paint, all those sorts of things. Not that the paint affects the drivability of it, but you get where I'm going with that. It's a 2005, so it's 10 years old, which means a lot of that's highway miles in that 250 to get to that high miles in 10 years. A lot of that is highway miles. I mean, that's essentially 25,000 miles a year. So that's a lot of highway miles, which means engine, transmission wise, etc., not as hard a miles as you'd have on city miles. So, me personally, Randy, I'd take that money, put it into the car, go over there, see Geno's and those guys over in Littleton, talk to them, get it figured out, get a real estimate on what everything, is going to be, what it's going to cost to replace everything, get it up to speed. And that's what I would do. Thoughts, Dorsey?
Yeah, I'd do the same thing. I'd have them do a full inspection first. And that way you can measure brake linings, and that kind of gives you an idea. Do I have another 20,000 on my brakes, or am I going to be doing brakes in 5,000, things like that?
Because the other thing, Randy, to consider is even buying a newer used car, but a new car especially, your license plates and increased insurance will almost equal what you're going to pay to fix your current car.
Right.
Not quite, but it's within about $500 of the two. Now, you add sales tax into that, and you've exceeded the cost of the repair of your car. So that'll, if you do sales tax, license plates, and increased insurance, you're definitely going to pay more than what you would if you just fixed your current car. So that I can tell you. But to Dorsey's point, take it over to Steve and the guys at Geno's, have them do a full inspection, look at it, determine what's going on, what's it going to take. Maybe it's 3,000 instead of 2,000. I don't know. That's one of those things where you need to get it in there and look at it and have them do an estimate on it and see what's going on.
Yeah, they'll look at bushings, sway bar bushings, links, tie rod ends, rack and pinion, make sure there's no leaks there.
Yep. Engine, transmission, rear, the rear itself, as far as the independent suspension in the back goes, etc. So again, have all that looked at. Let's go to Mike, who's got a couple of questions. And again, a couple of lines open, 303-477-5600 is our number. And by the way, side question of the day. This is something I was just going to throw out at everybody. If you drive a really nice car, especially this time of year. So you've got a nice car, something you don't want all beat up. Where and how do you park when it comes to the shopping centers, et cetera? So give us some feedback on that. Mike, welcome to Drive Radio. What's going on today?
Hey, John. First off, you need to move your show to about 10 o'clock in the morning during the week.
During the week?
Yes.
Okay.
And do 2 hours, because I can't listen to you in the afternoon. I'm sleeping.
Well, we, just as a side note goes, there's a lot going on here at KLZ. We'll see. All I can say on that is just stay tuned. We'll see what happens. I don't know exactly where, how everything's going to shake out, but I will have some additional time here in the near future. When it's going to be, that I can't answer.
Well, that's good enough. First off, I have a truck. I don't use that often. We had that cold spell the other day. I had to get into it, and I ended up using a pry bar to open the door.
Oh, boy, that's not good.
Not mechanical. Well, it was mechanical in as much as it was sticking. The door seals were sticking.
Got it.
Silicone the best?
Yeah, silicone, WD-40, anything that won't freeze, that will put a barrier. Okay. I've even gone as far as seeing guys take, Armor All or Vaseline even. I mean, anything that you can use to kind of, here's the key. Whatever you can use to grease up those, that rubber weather stripping that won't get all over your clothes, et cetera, that's still easy to get off if it does.
I was thinking more about the dust and attracting contaminants.
Most of that will get absorbed into the rubber anyways. That's where, really, and a good silicone spray works fine. I mean, if you can go to Napa, just buy a can of silicone spray and spray all those down. It works the best and won't attract the dust and stuff. But you may have something around the house that would work too.
Okay. Second thing, the new Dodge Diesel.
And one other thing I was just thinking of, Mike, on that. Also, one thing that helps that, wax the door jambs.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So and I just remembered that, and that's something I do consistently, not because of that, but it just keeps the door jambs lasting longer, easier to clean out, et cetera, keeps them cleaner, but that also will help those from sticking.
Okay.
Okay.
When are you going to do a test drive on the new half-ton Dodge Diesel?
I have. There's actually one on YouTube. Just go to our YouTube channel, and you'll see it there. I did one about
a couple months ago.
Yeah, about 2 months ago on it. Did a really long review on that, actually.
I was probably out on my bike. Anyway, a friend of a friend at work we were talking about I use Dodge Diesel specifically, and his friend had a problem with the DEF filter. He says that's a problem with those. Is the DEF system a problem for all the car manufacturers?
What problem did he have? Because they don't have a filter on them. What did he have?
He had a Cummins diesel,
okay,
2005, and for some reason the DEF filter.
He's got an 05. If he has an 05, it has no DEF filter or even a DPF filter on it on an 05. That didn't start till 08.
Okay. So there's no problems with the new stuff, the new filters and stuff.
The new stuff that's using urea injection has been pretty trouble-free unless somebody contaminates the DEF fluid itself, which has happened. I've seen it. It can take place if you're careful and making sure that anybody that operates the vehicle doesn't put, for example, diesel fuel in the DEF, things like that. Everything works fantastic. And it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, common sense kind of tells you that, it's got a blue cap on it and you put DEF fluid in it. You don't put anything else in it other than DEF fluid. So, but you can't put water, you can't put alcohol, you can't put diesel fluid. I mean, anything that goes in it has to be the approved DEF fluid. Here's another thing I think guys get into trouble with, and the only time I've ever seen any other contamination besides what I just said is DEF fluid has a shelf life. If you use some that's gotten old, you bought it on discount, something along those lines, it has to be stored where it's not in direct sunlight and it stays cool. Otherwise, it can get contaminated internally. It just goes bad is what happens over time.
So what's the consumption rate on something like that on a standard 1-ton truck?
I should be keeping track of my own, but I think, for us as a fleet, we'll put in about 2.5 gallons probably every 4,000 to 5,000 miles roughly is about what it averages.
Okay, that's not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, it's an extra expense, but, compared to what we used to have to deal with the non-urea, emissions related problems on diesels, I'll take the urea injection over the regular DPF systems without urea injection all day long. Dorsey, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would too. And they've got most of those figured out to where the size of the tank will just about go from oil change to oil change.
Almost, yep.
Oh, it's that long then?
It's that large, yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, the idea being you really don't need to service the DEF fluid except when you're doing an oil change.
Right.
See, and if you listen to the radio at night like I do, you talk about these truck stops that you can load up with both fuel and DEF at the same time. It makes it sound like it's something that's consumed much more.
Well, on the big trucks, it's going to be consumed more than it would be, because it's all related to how much fuel's going through the engine. So when you talk about a big truck that's getting 6 to 8 miles to the gallon, or maybe 10 at best, it's going to use twice what your new Cummins is because they're getting 18 to 20.
Right. Well, and that's it. I mean, it just made it sound like every gas tank you had to fill up.
No, I wouldn't say that. But those guys in those big trucks, and they've got gauges on them. They know exactly how much fluid's in it, and they can fill up in bulk that way versus having to buy a bunch of bottles and stick it in that way. 2.5 gallon jugs.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
You bet, Mike. Great questions, by the way. Appreciate it very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and appreciate the calls. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. And again, if you drive a really nice car, where do you park? Especially with the parking lots being really full this time of year. I'd love to hear from you. We'll also give some more tickets away. Larry's going to come up with a question for us today. And most of all, go out and enjoy that car show. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. It's today and tomorrow. All day long. You can get tickets at the convention center, and it is at the Colorado Convention Center. We'll have some folks calling in from out there, letting us know what kind of cars are there, etc.
Yeah, they got a lot of cars
there is. I know my dad's got his Bonneville cars out there. My uncle went down to help out. There's a lot of cool things there. Great show. You'll want to go out and enjoy it. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Don't go away. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4. Located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, they're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, right, Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, along with Dorsey Johnson. And don't forget our great sponsors of Drive Radio, Napa Auto Parts, of course, Can-Am Engineering. They do a lot of stuff with filtration, cold air intakes, etc. And then, of course, our local sponsors, Isaac Bouchard, our local broker, 303-475-1462. He can find you anything you want on a vehicle, new, used, leasing, buying, selling, whatever you need. He can help you out. Paul Leuenberger can help out with the insurance side of the fence, 303-619-9891. And by the way, Paul is actually our main contact down at the auto show. So he's down there right now. So if you go down there, say hi, let him know you heard him on Drive Radio. And then the guys at the tire place, Quick Tread, $50 off deal. I think they still have going on. Mention Drive Radio. That's Ken and Mike at Quick Tread, 720-588-9055. So the question to win some tickets. We'll give away 2 each hour. Want to do these in pairs if possible. Here's the question. What was the first year the city and county building downtown Denver was decorated for Christmas? So what was the first year the city and county building? And by the way, I've been going down there for years, but what was the first year? So I was a little kid, so give you some indication of how long it's been around. I was really little, which would have been in the 60s, and I was going down there and it was decorated. So go back further than that. Tell us, when was the first year? You'll win a couple of tickets. Just call Larry, let him know off air what that answer is. We need your first name, last name, and phone number. So guys on the other side of the glass, when these folks call in for tickets, get me first name, last name, phone number, and I'll email those down to the folks at the car show so they can pick up their free tickets and will call. Bob in Lakewood, you're up next. What's going on this morning?
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I've called you guys several times, and you guys are just great.
Thank you.
Helped me out so much.
Appreciate that.
I just purchased an 09 Chevy Silverado 2500 heavy duty.
Okay.
Someone had some tires on it, so my speedometer's off.
Okay, so and you broke up for just a second, but somebody put a larger set of wheel and tire, or a larger tire on it, essentially.
Yes, sir, 18-inch.
Okay, they put Now, did they what size tire did they put on it?
235 70s.
Okay.
And so now the speedometer is off, and I don't know if there's a way or if I can take it somewhere to get that calibrated or how that works.
There's a couple of ways you can do that. You can do it all yourself, by the way. There's no sense taking it any place. You can either buy what we call a downloader, which is a power programmer, which you can also do some other things with, change shift points on the transmission. It can help with, some fuel economy, towing, power, some of those sorts of things. And inside of those, in fact, all the name brand ones, you'll have the ability to adjust for tire size changes on the truck also, thereby adjusting the speedometer.
Wow.
Those run about $400.
Okay.
You won't find anybody else out there programming that any cheaper, probably. Now, Dorsey, you might be able to answer it. You can do it also with a OEM GM scan tool. What would you charge somebody to go in and change tire size doing that?
It runs about $100.
Okay, so you can either buy the program or get some added features for $400, do it yourself, take it into a shop and have it done for about $100.
Okay, and if I was to take it into a shop, I live in Lakewood, what's one you'd recommend? Because I think that would be...
Ray has Ray at Four Seasons has an OEM scan tool, and that's what you have to actually go in and adjust the parameters for that.
Okay, and what's the full name?
It's Ray at Four Seasons, and he's right off of South Wadsworth and...
Just north of Jewel.
Yeah, Jewel and Wadsworth.
That's perfect. That's what I'm going to do, because right now with some other things I want to do to the truck, I really can't afford the $400, but I do want to get it fixed. That's a lot cheaper than a ticket.
Yes, it is. Most definitely.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Bob. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. Lines open, by the way, 303-477-5600 to win a couple of tickets. What was the first year the city and county building in downtown Denver was decorated for Christmas? Ron and Thornton, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, good morning, guys. I have a question. I had heard that using natural gas, I think it was converted over to methane, and they're saying to convert your car to run that was only going to cost like $300 or some dollars. I was just wondering if you know anything about that.
That's not, I don't know who told you that, but that's incorrect.
Yeah, I don't know if you could even buy the storage tank for that.
You can't. And I've done it, so I know, because I've got a couple of vehicles that that we run in particular areas that I have to run natural gas on.
Yeah.
And it's we do some work out at the airport, and I have to have natural gas running on a vehicle out there in particular. And there is very few guys around that can get that conversion done for much less than $2,500 or so. And just buying the tank alone, fabricating it, getting it put in, getting all your plumbing in, etc. It's not a cheap endeavor, is what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
So I don't know who said 300 or 400 because that's
the tank
incorrect.
Takes a lot of space too. So,
I heard it was some guy that used to be the CEO of Shell Oil. But anyway,
yeah, I mean, just between the two of us, if I could get the rest of my fleet converted over for $300 or $400, I'd be doing a lot more trucks because that's pretty inexpensive. But I've not found it. I've not found anybody that's got it. That's got kits even that I can even put on myself, where I could buy the parts for $400.
Right. I got one more question.
Sure, go right ahead, Ron.
I had heard previous shows that you had a locksmith. Because I lost my keyless remote to get into my truck.
Yeah.
And I thought you guys had. I was on your website.
We did, and that did not, unfortunately for us. Well, unfortunately for you guys, really had any effect on us personally here at the on the station and program itself. But for you guys, yes, that was not good. We are still looking for another locksmith we could partner up with. What I will tell you, though, do you have internet access?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Drive Radio, I put up there not too long ago a link to a company that builds universal remotes, key fobs, etc., where you could just order one up. It'll fit your vehicle. You'll have to get it programmed then, but that's a pretty easy thing to have done.
Oh, okay. Just go to Facebook and then Drive Radio.
Yeah, just go to Facebook/Drive Radio, and it's going to be down a little bit because I put that up a couple of weeks ago. But there's a company that actually makes universal key fobs, if you would, and they work out from all the research I've done. They work great, and yeah, you can put them on there, and it's called iKeyless.com. I just looked it up for you. So it's iKeyless.com, and they can sell you key fobs, and then we can program them for you, and they're universal. So they're not so proprietary that you're going to spend the high dollars that you would go into the dealership to buy one.
Those kind of inexpensive, you think? Or
they're going to be, they're less expensive than what you're going to find at a dealership. Let's put it that way. Like, for example, what are you driving?
2005 Dodge Ram 1500.
Okay, so if we just look real quick here at, I can punch this up for you real fast while we're waiting. These Thanksgiving type or these holiday weekends, we've got the ability to do a little more for you guys on this. So give me 1 second. Let's see what we can come up with and see what they say. Sure. Okay, so if you do their transponder, the Chrysler one, $28.95, or sorry, $39.95, $40. Normally they're $70.
Oh, that's a great deal.
So go there, you can look at it, and once you get it, you can take it to somebody like Dorsey. He's over in your area, the Thornton, Westminster area. He could program it for you, and off you go.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, does that help you?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, appreciate it. Doris, does Napa, are they selling any of those universal key fobs yet?
Not selling the universals yet that I know.
That's what I thought. They're all specific, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was a good find. So again, use our Facebook page, facebook.com/Drive Radio. I stick up as many things like this that I find. And by the way, sometimes it's you guys as listeners that send me that information that I then can throw up onto Facebook so you guys can see them. But no, that's a pretty good deal. I mean, $40 compared to $70. Yeah. And that's not a bad deal at all. And and it looks just like the Chrysler remote. It's not some funky looking weird, remote. It looks just like your Chrysler key fob. So
yeah, it's got to have the same buttons and stuff.
Well, and keep in mind, folks, Chrysler doesn't build their own key fobs.
No, somebody else does that.
Let me give you a little side note. None of those guys are building their key fobs. Somebody else is. So the aftermarket, once they get a little bit of age on them, it's typically easy to go in and find those. Now, according to this website, I have not verified this. Dorsey and I will have to do some research on this and figure it out. They claim you can program these yourself. I don't know how. I don't know how that part works, if it's even possible. They claim you can program it in 3 to 5 minutes.
It may have a learn feature.
It may. Now, if it does, makes it really, really, really. So anyways, go look at that website. It's iKeyless.com. And I tell you what, let's take a quick break, Matt. When we'll come back, we've got 2 more calls lined up. One line open, 303-477-5600. So David and Windsor with your 2011 GMC. Hang with us. We'll be right back, and we'll get you next here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
K&N's premium oil filters are very different. They make oil changes easier. K&N's wrench-off oil filters have a 1-inch nut welded on the top, so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
All right, we are back. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, KLZ 560 Drive Radio. We've got somebody out at the car show right now. I believe it is my Uncle Bill. Are you there, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Hey.
John, how are you this morning?
Doing great. Welcome. What all's going on out at the car show?
Well, I'll tell you what. Yesterday was probably, I've been coming to this thing for 15 years or so. Yesterday was probably the biggest crowd that I've ever seen here. It was just terrific. There's cars of all shapes and sizes and kinds and types. If you like pickups, there's just some gorgeous pickups. There's race cars. Right now I'm sitting in the Bonneville booth.
Awesome.
And with some Bonneville race cars, a couple of record holder cars. There's a gentleman here who's signing a book that is all about Bonneville from 2014 on back. That's David Featherstone is his name. And the books are for sale. They're $50 a piece. The money goes to save the salt at the Bonneville Salt Flats, so they can keep the racetrack going. And so a good crowd of people here just starting to come in this morning.
Awesome. Well, and I know you guys are going to call throughout the show, so continue to do that. Let us know any other cool things that are out there. We're giving some tickets away. And again, that's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. I think, Bill, they're open until 9 tonight and 6 tomorrow night. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
9 tonight, 6 tomorrow night. There's an auction that starts here at 11 o'clock today for anybody that wants to come down and partake of the auction. There's some just terrific custom cars, hot rods, classic cars for sale in the auction. So
awesome.
Anyway, that starts at 11.
Very cool.
I'll get back to you in a little bit.
All right, sounds great. Thanks for calling in. That is my uncle, Bill Rush. He's out at the car show, and the booth he was talking about is where my dad and a bunch of his cohorts are there. They've got some Bonneville cars they run and some record holders and so on.
Record-holding Bonneville motorcycle there.
I don't know. Good question. Well, when he comes back, we'll ask.
Fast down there.
He'll call back, and he'll be back in a little bit. We'll just ask that question. All right. I think David was up next. David, welcome. What's going on today?
Yeah, hi. I bought a 2011 GMC Sierra not too long ago, and the only thing I have it is when I'm like right now, I'm driving to Denver from Windsor with the sun in, my sunglasses on, I can't see the dash light. Is there some kind of way to turn those, make them brighter?
You must wear polarized sunglasses.
I don't. Actually, they're $10 cheaper.
Really? Because I have the same problem, and I've noticed it's worse when you wear a polarized set than a regular set. Is there a way to turn that up brighter? I don't believe there is, David.
I thought there might be like a phone has a light sensor that brightens and dims that you can disconnect or something. But there isn't.
I'm not too sure. What kind of car was that?
2011 Sierra.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the sun load sensor on those. Most of them, to be honest with you, still have a manual switch that you can turn the dash lights up.
Yeah, and I got it up turned all the way.
You got yours cranked all the way up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I've noticed even on a lot of the press cars and such that I drive, David, that's something that, even some of the new cars, that's the only complaint I have. And especially when you get into heads-up displays and things like that, when you have sunglasses on, which you need to, which I personally have to have, wearing contacts, and the bright sun really affects me, greatly, especially the older I get, it seems to get worse.
I know that.
I have to wear sunglasses to drive, so I feel your pain.
Yeah, I'm about your age, so I understand totally.
Yeah,
that's why I like the cars that have not only the illuminated digital display LED, but the dials too. They have both, and you can set the digital ones to read different things or be redundant.
I could see my RPMs and my speedometer and all that. Fine.
You just can't read the rest of the info.
The radio and the rest of
Yep. No, that's a problem, David. I feel your pain. I don't have an answer for you. I hate to say.
Okay, I just thought I'd call.
Maybe we need to come up with a new invention for sunglasses that allows us to see that a little better. I'm not sure how that would work, but maybe somebody out there listening could work on that, because that is a problem.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it very much. And I go through the same thing he's going through. A lot of these newer cars I drive, and the way some of them are illuminating different things. There's times where I'm raising my glasses up. You on YouTube can see me doing that. You raise your glasses up a tad just to look under, to see what's going on.
Yeah,
inside the car.
A really good pair of fly fishing sunglasses, it'll really dim it down to where you have trouble with it.
Yeah, no, any of the polarized ones. In fact, I find the better the sunglasses, the more the problem. It exacerbates itself. So, all right, lines open. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. And again, we're giving away free tickets. You just heard my Uncle Bill out at the car show talking about that. What was the first year the city and county building in Denver was lit up for Christmas? Let's say it that way. So give us a call. Let us know when that is. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Eric, you're up next. What's going on today?
Hey, guys. Hey, what are your thoughts and the overall on 2010 and newer Nissan Frontier pickups? The problems I'm having with my heating system on my Dakota, since it's non-stock, nobody wants to work on it for me to help me diagnose this, and the guy who was working on it is stumped. So I'm starting to contemplate the idea of trading it in on something.
Nissan builds a great pickup. There's nothing wrong with it at all. In fact, you heard Randy Hunt was on with us last weekend talking about Toyota, and in fact, Nissan still builds one of the smaller, in its class, one of the smaller trucks, which, by the way, a lot of people now are kind of clamoring for. So I can't say anything bad about the Nissan truck at all.
Yeah, we service quite a few of those, and they seem to be a pretty stout little truck.
Yeah, they work great.
Okay. Yeah, because like I say, I've got a problem here with this heater where I'm not getting it correct airflow. There's something vacuum, and everybody's either stumped, or when they find out, it's not a stock vehicle, they don't want to work on it.
Mm.
And I'm kind of like, and the guy who was working on it, he's scratching his head now going, I'm at a loss. And this is somebody, like you guys who's been working on for ages. And he's kind of stumped too, because we've replaced just about it. There's only like 2 parts that we haven't replaced. And
and I can't remember what year is yours, 2000 or?
Yeah, it's a 2000 Dakota.
That's what I thought. Yeah. And I'll tell you, just as somebody that owns one of those particular vehicles get to a point in time where they just start nickel and diming you on everything.
Well, and see, and this has been this last year was the first year I've had to put anything major into it. The trans went out on it, and I took it to Larry's, and I can give high marks for Jeff and those guys. And that's the first serious issue I've had with it in forever. And this problem started about 1.5 years ago, and it's something vacuum related, where things aren't working correctly. And the only part we haven't replaced is the vacuum boost on the for the brakes.
Right.
And that's really the only vacuum part that we haven't replaced, short of replacing that and replacing the motor.
Interesting.
And I don't, and it's what it'll do is, like, if it's on AC, it works great, but when you have it on the heat, if you have the heat set all the way to the hottest setting, you'll get good heat. But as soon as you take it off of there, it rapidly starts to cool. And if you have it on any of the normal settings, the dial settings where you would have it for heat, like either face and foot or just face or just foot or defrost and foot, intermittently, you'll get intermittent airflow, or you'll only get partial airflow.
Interesting.
And we've had this thing apart and back together and apart and back together. We've replaced everything, suggestions, it's pretty much the only part of the HVAC we can't replace is the box. And there was one other part that's not available, but it tests fine.
Another thing that I could think of in there would be it's something internal inside of the box itself, with the door getting stuck, something along those lines, which could happen.
See, and what this is, like, if you have it on, say, face and foot,
right,
and it'll work. If it's real cold, it will work for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden you can have it on the fan on the highest setting, and it's like everything closes, and the airflow that you get out of the vents is the equivalent if you just walked up to somebody and just gently
there's
blew
a door closing inside the box, is what's happening.
Yeah, because you'll hear the fan spinning inside the box.
Yeah.
But if, like, the minute you pull it inside the shop where it's warm, within about 2 minutes, it'll work fine.
I would almost think you got a problem with the box itself.
Sounds like it.
Yep. Which
I know on some of the Chrysler products where we've gone in and replaced blend doors and things like that, we had to go back to dealer blend doors. None of the aftermarket stuff worked right.
Right.
Yeah, and finding them is getting harder and harder.
Yep. Yeah, your idea of switching out of it, going to something else. I
still enjoy it. I've got the big V8 in it. I still enjoy it, but it's like, a couple weeks ago when it was minus 14.
I hear you.
My feet were nice and warm on the way to work, but nothing else.
Nothing else is. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
So,
all right, man.
Thanks, guys.
Good talking to you, Eric. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Jim, who's up next. Jim, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, guys. I really love your show. I learned a lot from it. So
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I had a comment on these key fobs and stuff. I lost my, I have an 04 4Runner. I lost my key in a key fob, and I did some research on it and was frustrating. A lot of people are saying, no, you have to go to the dealer to have them programmed. It was like $200 to get a new key with the chip in it programmed and a key fob programmed. I called a locksmith. It was a little cheaper, but I would encourage everybody. I finally went and was like, this doesn't sound right. I went onto YouTube, and lo and behold, there's people on YouTube showing you exactly how to do it. I ended up buying an uncut key, Toyota key, with a chip in it, and a brand new key fob that looked exactly like mine. I programmed them both. It took like 30 seconds to do both of them. I spent $30, versus even the forums were saying, no, you got to take it in. They got to program it themselves. And I mean, it's kind of comical how you program them. It was take the key in and out twice, open your door 3 times, and then it gets into this program mode.
No, you're right. And just for everybody else listening, every vehicle is unique. to Jim's point, do your research. Just don't go out, and especially just don't go to the dealer and spend $200 or $300 getting a key made. There's always another way to go about doing that. Jim's got a great point, whether that's buying an aftermarket fob or whatever. There's always an easier way to do that.
There was, and the internet, take it for what it is, but there's some good things about it. So
no, there is. No, you're right. And there's
saved me $150.
That's right. No, on the key side of the fence, some of the fobs, Dorsey and I were just talking through the last break. Some fobs are very easily programmed, like you just mentioned. Some you have to have an OEM scan tool to actually program. Keep in mind, even a lot of the repair shops on the aftermarket side of the fence, like our Colorado Select facilities, have those tools to program that so you don't have to go back to the dealer.
Yeah, and I even went onto that iKeyless site you mentioned, and I actually got a hold of their instructions. But they do. It was the exact same instructions they had for what I found on YouTube.
There you go. There you go. That verifies that site works.
If anybody wants to do it,
yeah, perfect.
YouTube first, and it doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
so.
good point. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. He's got a great point. And Dorsey wrote down that iKeyless. I think that's a site that we're going to continue to use here on Drive Radio. In fact, Dorsey, I may work on seeing if we could get some sponsorship or somebody to call in, et cetera, because that was a good find. I think that'll be a good tool for us on down the road, even for our centers that are inside of our Colorado Select group here. So, guys, we got a couple lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Steve from Highlands Ranch, you got some hail damage questions. Hang with us. And again, don't forget the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. That's today and tomorrow. Actually started yesterday, but today and tomorrow out at the Convention Center. We'll have some more folks calling in throughout the show. If you want to win a couple of tickets, what was the first year the city and county building down in Denver lit up? It will give you a couple of tickets for that. So again, a couple of lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Dorsey Johnson, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing the highest level of service possible to our customers. Our highly trained technicians are ASE certified and are dedicated to providing you with world-class service. We have years of experience working on both domestic and import vehicles of all makes and models, and will work with you to find cost-effective repair and maintenance.
I have no complaints with that.
Have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
It's got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4. Located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, they're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
I'm going to teach you right now how to find a good, honest mechanic. Ask about the warranty. Their warranty will tell you everything you need to know because their warranty is their word. And Colorado Select Auto Care Centers all offer the best warranty in the state. 3 years, 36,000 miles on every repair. Always select a Colorado Select Auto Care Center at coloradoselect.org. 3 years, 36,000 miles. It's all you need to know.
Drive Radio, John Rush, your host, along with Dorsey Johnson from Arvada West. One line open, 303-477-5600. Steve, you're up next. What's going on today?
Yeah, hey, I love the show. I'm a long-time listener.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, I have an 06 Liberty. It has 74,000 miles, and then we just got nailed by the hailstorm here. And so originally they said it was going to be $4,400 to fix it. Got it into the shop, and then they found a bunch more stuff, and then it pretty much doubled the estimate. So then now they want to total it and give me $9,500, just to tow it away, or I can keep it for I think $7,500. They would still give me. So I'm just at a loss because I love the vehicle. I do all the maintenance.
I take the $7,500 and keep it.
Yeah, is that what you do?
Yep.
And just live with it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't fix it. I'd leave the dents. This is the same advice I gave to one of my kids a few years ago that. I had a little Mazda that got in one of the hailstorms we had here, and they got enough money out of it where it paid the car off. In their case, they owed money on it. It paid the car off, and yeah, they've been driving a car that's got dents in it for the last 4 years. But you know what? They've also had a car that's been paid for the last 4 years, and mechanically there wasn't anything wrong with it.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So, and then what exactly is the salvage title? It's just not worth anything, or
yeah, when you go to resell the vehicle, it will say salvage on it. Now, you could explain to somebody, listen, it was salvage for hail damage, etc. But really, the advice would be, you're going to take that vehicle, you're not going to fix it, you're going to put the $7,500 in the bank or do whatever you want with it. You're going to drive that vehicle till the wheels fall off, and at that point, it won't matter anyways.
You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to send my kid off to college with it.
Well, there you go. Then at that point, it's a no-brainer. Put the money to good use and put it towards his college education and call it good.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. I just want another opinion.
No, you're on the right track.
I just want to make sure there wasn't anything I was missing.
You're not missing anything. You won't have anything wrong with driving that vehicle. Your insurance rates will go down because it'll already be a total vehicle. It won't have the same value in the end. Other than it being dinged up, it's a win.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate it, Steve. Let's go to Andrew, who's up next. Andrew, welcome.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question on my windshield wiper fluid these days. I've swapped it out, changed it out, and put the de-icing in it and so forth. It's in my wife's CRV 2011. I think it's the LX-something or other.
Okay.
And how do you backflush those? Because I'm not getting anywhere near the fluid. I mean, we could just about wash the car behind us when we used to put that windshield wiper fluid on. But right now, it's a third of what it used to be. So how do you backwash those?
You know, if the nozzles are all crusted up, which is what usually happens, you usually get some deposits that plug the nozzles. You're probably going to end up replacing the nozzles.
Yep.
Okay.
The only other thing you can do, and if you don't own this tool, you'll spend as much money for the tool as what you will for the nozzles, is if you have a welder's tip cleaning tool, and if you're a welder, anybody out there, a torch cleaning tip.
I know what you're talking about.
If you have one of those, and sometimes they have small enough, small enough tips in them where they will, they'll be small enough to clean those out. But if not, you can actually buy the nozzles cheaper than that tool.
Okay.
Unless you know somebody you can borrow or something along those lines. That's the only other thing you might try.
So you need to stick it in about an inch, because right now I can't even see where the hoses.
And those are probably plastic, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and you know what? In that case, I think I'd just go buy 2 new nozzles and call it good.
Yeah. And do you remove it from the top or the bottom half of the?
The nozzle pops all.
Yeah,
the
usually
way
from the
out
top up.
All the way out from the top. Yeah.
Okay, so is there a little pry wedge that I can just kind of pop that thing off and put on?
On the Liberty, you may have.
That's a CRV.
Or the CRV, yeah. Depending on where they're at, are they on the cowling right in front of the windshield, or are they on the hood?
Yes, they are on the leading edge almost of the hood, and I don't know if that's the cowling or not. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, there's some.
Yeah, I would call it the
If
cowling.
they're on the cowling and you can't get your hand under there, you may end up taking the cowling off to get them out.
They may have a clip or something behind them holding them in.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks for
But
the
you could
coaching.
try cleaning them first, but there's no solutions or anything like that you're going to be able to put in there to really help clean that out. To Dorsey's point, they just get all crusted over, and
I've even tried CLR, diluting it down and running it through them, and it just doesn't
just put
work.
nozzles on it. It's as easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it, Andrew. Line open 303-477-5600. By the way, still have tickets left. And these are easy. We won't mail them to you. There's no delay getting them. All you do is go to Will Call. You'll give them your phone number, first and last name, and they will make sure that you get the tickets. We've still got tickets left. What year did the city and county building in downtown Denver, what was the first year it was decorated? In other words, what year did it get lit up? What year was that? And if you can add in who the mayor was at the time, that'd even be that much greater. But this would not be that difficult to find. Google it, find it. Not a hard one to find. Find out what that answer is. Call us off air. You can call Larry. He'll take your call off air, and he'll get you a couple of tickets. We still have 6 tickets total, 3 pair, 303-477-5600. And speaking of CRVs, I'll just plug this real fast. I had a chance to drive the new 2015 CRV. Never have driven a lot of Hondas. Just recently have been able to get behind the wheel of a few Hondas. And you know what? After driving a few, I can see why they have such a loyal following. Dorsey, it's a great vehicle. The CRV is the top selling vehicle in that market. It works fantastic. It drives well. They've restyled it where the look and feel of it is even better than it's been before. The 4-cylinder engine, even at our altitude, works fantastic. It's got a ton of room behind the second seat. I just thoroughly enjoyed driving that car. I'll have that review up here in a couple of days. You can watch it on YouTube. And I actually really enjoyed driving it. I can see why Honda's got such a loyal following. They've done a great job.
Yeah, they're a pretty good little car.
Yeah, no, they really are. I can see why people just get it. And Honda owners are typically, similar to Toyota, et cetera. They're very loyal. Typically, if they've bought a Honda, they're going to go back and they're going to buy another Honda. And, and I used to knock that years ago, but after being behind the wheel of a few Hondas, they're not how do I want to say this? Honda's not one of the biggest automakers out there. In fact, they're behind most of the others. They just don't build the quantity that everybody else does, but they build a good, high-quality vehicle. I know in the news here just recently they're going to get in trouble for some recalls and some different things that way, and I don't know all the details behind all of that. It's no different than what GM's gone through or anybody else. So, we could go to almost every manufacturer out there, and at one point or another, they're going to have some issues that way. Does it detract from the car itself? I don't think it does. Dorsey, what's your opinion on that?
I don't think it really detracts from it. Every motor company's had their issues.
Yep. They have. Toyota's had them. Ford's had them. Dodge's, Chrysler's had them. Honda. I mean, I can go down the list. There's rarely one that in the last 10, 15 years hasn't had some sort of an issue along the lines of what we just spoke about. And right now, by the way, folks, all the recalls you see for airbags, I just wanted to add this into today's topic or today's show. Don't let those airbag problems, that is not a reflection upon the automakers themselves, because the reality is that's all coming from the same airbag manufacturer.
Right.
So it just shows you, we talk on the show all the time about how the automakers are really more of assemblers than they are manufacturers anymore. They farm out parts, get specs, they want this, they want that, and then on the assembly line, they put all those pieces together. That's really what automakers do today. They really, other than engines, even transmissions are a conglomeration anymore, a conglomerated effort between, several different companies. They make sheet metal. They do the design work. They do all the R&D. They have a support network in place. Outside of that, Dorsey, they don't make a lot of the cars anymore.
No.
They assemble the cars. They don't make a lot of the cars. It's not like the old days where each manufacturer made all the parts. So, guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick break, go to the news. We'll come right back. We'll take more calls. The lines are open. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. When I come back, I'll tell you about the new Jaguar F-Type R model that I actually drove, and by the way, is out at the car show. Beautiful car. You're going to want to go out and see that at the car show. Again, that's out at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show, and that's at the Convention Center. We'll have some more updates on that through the rest of the show. We're out of here for a moment. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, Drive Radio.
It's not the perfume that you wear. There's all the ribbons in your hair. And I don't mind you coming in. Wasting all my time. I'm not hanging out. I'm talking in your sleep. It doesn't matter.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join us every Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. for Sportsman of Colorado. Hunting, fishing, camping, guns, and ammo. We'll get you ready for the big game late rifle season, upland bird hunting, and tips on making your next waterfowl hunt a success. Check out our website, sportsmanofcolorado.com. If you love the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado. Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays, 1 to 2 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Greg Moore. Police say 3 people are dead. 2 others are fighting for their lives after a shooting in Atlanta. Local TV station WSB reporting 1 male victim listed in critical condition at Grady Memorial Hospital. A female victim was also injured. Homicide detectives are investigating. Police in Ferguson, Missouri reporting 16 more arrests as hundreds of people returned to the streets Friday night protesting the grand jury decision in the shooting death of Michael Brown. Police and Missouri National Guard soldiers forcing some people to the ground before binding their hands and ankles with zip ties. Authorities say at least 1 person is going to face a charge of assaulting a law enforcement officer. A shooting last night in Chicago at a crowded Nordstrom store involving a murder-suicide plot. Police say a critically injured woman was the girlfriend or ex-girlfriend of the gunman who died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio. with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to The Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking The Blaze with you. This is The Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking The Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to The Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560.
The Dennis Miller Show, Monday night at 10 on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. And again, thanks for joining us. If you've missed the first hour, if it's Sunday afternoon, for example, and you're listening to us just now for the first time, you can go to our podcast, pick up our first hour. I get that up as quickly as I can. If it's Sunday, you can't call the show. I know you do because we get the call logs here at the station. We appreciate that, but we can't answer questions on Sundays. You can send us an email, john@drive-radio.com. So JOHN@drive-radio.com, which, by the way, you can send those anytime you want, just not on Sundays. But if you're listening on Sunday, we do appreciate it very much. And if it is Sunday, you can still go down to the car show, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. That'll be on until 6 p.m. Sunday, 9 p.m. today on Saturday. We're giving some tickets away. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. And my Uncle Bill is actually out at the car show itself. And Bill, what's going on? What's our second update of the day?
Well, hey, John, I'm standing in front of the Hot Rod Hill Climb booth here. These are the guys that put on the hill climb at Georgetown up Guanella Pass.
Very cool.
And they have a terrific display here. This is just a recreation of the race that was held back in 53 and 54. And you got to have a period correct car and so on to do it. But they've got a fine display of cars here, and they have the car that won it all here in 53 and 4, which is the T33 Wayne Chevrolet Special. Cal Kennedy drove up there, and they've got the engine out of the car so you can see it. But it's a Wayne Chevrolet, which probably not many people have ever heard of, but it's sitting out here on the floor, and it's the coolest thing you ever saw. So
very cool.
They've got a neat display here, and the hill climb will take place August 14th and 15th at Georgetown again this year. This will be the third year that we've done it, or that these folks have done it. And then also they're going to do a drag race, an 8-mile dirt track drag race, June 12th and 14th, down at a movie theater in Monte Vista, Colorado.
Okay.
And there'll be more information on that come about. But,
very cool.
But it's going to be in June. But it's a dirt track drag strip, and again, it'll be a kind of a period correct thing.
Very
So,
cool. Well, I'm going to
anyway.
try to get down there tomorrow. I've got a lot going on today, but I'll do my best to get down there tomorrow and stop by and say hello to everybody. But we'll get some more guys out, get some more folks out to stop by and say hi. And we got a few more tickets to give away. So call us here in a little bit and give us another update.
I'll get back to you later.
All right,
Thanks.
Bill. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And that's my Uncle Bill, my dad, a bunch of other folks are out there at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. Again, that's today until 9 p.m. This is Saturday, and on Sunday until 6 p.m. tomorrow afternoon and evening. So it'll be a lot of fun. You won't want to miss it. He's going to continue to call us and give us some updates. A lot of cool stuff, old stuff, new stuff. Those are just great. It's a great event, by the way. And by the way, weather-wise, fantastic.
Okay.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. So get out, go down there, check out the car show, and have a great time. And as I say always, please use our sponsors. I talked about these during the first hour. Isaac Bouchard, our broker, 303-475-1462. He can help you out with anything you've got going on with your car, buying, selling, trading. What do you buy for the kids? All those different things. What's your car worth? What do you do next? He can help you with all that stuff. And then Paul Leuenberger, who's actually out at the car show, he's in the Chrome Insurance booth, 303-619-9891. If you're out at the car show, please stop by and say hi to Paul. And then the guys at Quick Trade, if you haven't got your tires ready for winter, stop and do that. They've got a $50 off deal. Call them 720-588-9055, and they will come right to your doorstep, home or office, put your tires on, take care of you, take the old tires away, off you go. Perfect setup.
Better than waiting in the tire store.
Way better than waiting in the tire store. All right, so guys, let's go to the phones. Jay is up first. Jay, welcome to Drive Radio. What's going on today?
Yes, Jay. 02 4Runner. Been doing a little research,
and it sounds like the third generation 4Runner kind of sag in the back, so the rear is lower than the front. So when you drive at night, people always think you have your headlights on bright.
Yep.
Is there a fairly inexpensive, decent way to just raise the rear end an inch or inch and a half or so without?
You have two choices on that: either put new springs in it or airbags.
Okay.
Either one, and neither one are. I don't want to say they're to me, that's still an inexpensive thing to do. The springs aren't that expensive. Neither are the airbags. The advantage of the airbags is if you want to put anything else in it, you've got the ability to keep the vehicle level, even with additional weight. So if you carry people in the back, throw a little trailer on it, anything along those lines, the airbags will actually, level the load with the amount of air that you put in the bag. They're adjustable is what I'm trying to get at, where the springs themselves are going to be constant.
Okay. Is that airbag system pretty durable?
Yes, extremely.
Okay. And where would I pick that up?
Actually, those can be supplied through any of our Colorado Select facilities. You're in Wheat Ridge. Dorsey's probably your closest in Arvada. Dorsey can help you with all of what I just said.
Yeah.
Okay. And where's his shop?
We're on 64th, just west of Sims.
Okay. All right.
If you're familiar with that area.
Okay. I can find that.
There's a quick lube right in front of Dorsey. There's also a parts store right across the parking lot from Dorsey. He's right off of Ralston Road, basically right there. You can't miss it. Arvada West Truck and Auto.
Okay, but new springs could work for a while as well.
New springs would work forever. It's just two different approaches and
just not adjustable.
Correct. Yeah,
right.
They're just not that one's better than the other. It just depends on your needs, and that's where you and Dorsey could sit down, chat about what you do with the vehicle, how long you're going to keep it, how often do you use it with a heavy load, et cetera.
Right.
He can walk you through what the best option is.
All right, sounds great.
All right, Jay, appreciate the phone call. Oh, Dorsey, why don't you give your phone number out real quick?
It's 303-422-1065.
All right, 422-1065, Arvada West Truck and Auto. Dorsey Johnson and Paul over there, one of our great Colorado Select members, by the way, one of our longest running Colorado Select members, and have been in this thing since we've been at it from the get-go.
Yep.
18 plus years or so. I don't know. It's been 20 years probably now.
Pretty gray hair.
Been a long, long time. Just put it that way. All right, let's go to Bill in Colorado Springs. Bill, welcome. What's going on today?
Yeah, thank you. Love your show.
Thank you, sir.
I've got a 1996 Chevrolet Lumina with a 3.1 in it. Okay. It has 160,000 miles on it, but there's only 70,000 on the engine itself. Okay, they put a brand new engine in it. People had it before me.
Got it.
Anyway, I had to put a radiator in it a week ago, and discovered that the radiator cap on the old one was bad also. So of course I had to put a cap on there, and then things started happening. I discovered that the heater hoses in the back on the firewall had to be replaced. And now the guy at the radiator shop showed me where there is just a tiny little bubble coming out apparently from under the intake manifold. In other words, there's the gasket evidently, he said, which has later been improved. I guess they have a better gasket going on there now.
That's correct.
I guess my question is, he said it's going to be an expensive job to fix it. He figured about $600 that somebody might charge to do this. And I thought, I've got a car here that I've had for 2 years. I paid $2,600 for it. I don't know what the car is worth today, but I don't know if it's worth getting the thing fixed or not. I haven't actually talked to any shops about this at this point. And the guy at the radiator shop told me to put a stop leak in there, which I did. Now, he said, that's a temporary fix. I said, what's temporary? He said, well, no telling. He says it might take care of the problem forever, and he says it might go one day,
Yeah.
Anyway, your thoughts on this?
We had a caller in the first hour that we had a similar conversation with, and I'm going to tell you, really the same thing I told him. This comes down to really you. How much longer do you think you want to keep the car and drive it? Even if you spend $1,000 on it, you can't replace that car for $1,000. In other words, you can't find transportation for $1,000.
Right.
The car is probably only worth $1,000 to $1,500 range by itself right now. So, you have to kind of look at that and say, okay, if I spend $1,000, can I get another 2 or 3 years out of it? Is that worth the money? Well, in my book, it would be.
Really? Well, I like the car. I'd probably like to keep it, but I don't want to, I'm wondering if putting that kind of money into that older car is really worthwhile to do,
Right.
As I say, there's only 70,000 miles on this engine.
Well, and that's where, again, you're unique because you've got a unique situation as far as the mileage and such goes. And I'll give you another tip. And this, by the way, is sold at Napa. There is a sealer, and everybody out there listening, this is not for everybody. I'm just talking to Bill at this point in time right now, at this moment. And I have tested this sealer, so I know it works. And it works for quite some time. I don't recommend it for everybody because typically you need to get the cooling system fixed properly, et cetera. But in your case, older vehicle, 96, not sure if you're going to keep it, what you're going to do, there's a product called K-Seal, K-Seal.
Okay.
And it's sold at Napa.
Okay.
And it works.
Okay.
It works extremely well. It works well enough that I've even sealed up EGR coolant leaks on 6-liter Fords with it enough to get through the winter and fix it come springtime because I just can't have a truck down long enough in the winter to fix.
Yeah.
So will it work? Yes, it will.
Well, this is such a tiny leak. It doesn't even...
I would try that and see if it seals it up. Don't use anything else. The advantage the K-Seal has is it's at least fixable down the road once you go to do something with the cooling system.
Well, these guys advised me to get bars.
No.
I wouldn't
No?
use
No,
bars
go
leak.
use this K-Seal instead. Do not put bars leak in it.
Bars leaks will
It'll
junk
plug up
your
the heater
system.
core. That's right.
Yeah.
Now this
already-
the K-Seal will not plug up your heater core.
Okay.
It's more money. It's 5 times the amount of money you're going to spend on it. $25 versus $5 for bars leak.
Mhm.
It's well worth the investment.
Okay.
And it will work for what I'm talking about and what you need on your vehicle.
No idea how long, obviously.
It may go a year or more. I did this last year as a test. I had an EGR coolant leak on a 6-liter Ford, which Dorsey across me understands what I'm saying. That's a very common 6-liter Ford problem. It was halfway through the winter. I just did not have time to stop. It was one of my plow trucks. I just couldn't put it down, for the 3 or 4 days it takes to do that job. I put that product in it. We ran it all winter, and I fixed it in the spring.
Okay.
So it works.
Was it a bad leak that you had?
Yeah, when they leak internally on a 6-liter
EGR
Ford,
cooler's
it's a
hard to
bad
fix,
leak.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
All right, try that and see what happens. And again, that was just for Bill. Really, if you've got the ability to fix the thing properly, and even in my case, as soon as springtime rolled around, I ordered up the Bulletproof Diesel, or actually Napa now has a EGR that works perfect on those 6-liters. I actually bought the Napa upgraded EGR cooler for that, put that on the vehicle, and off we went.
They sell the same one as Bulletproof
That's right.
Diesel.
It's exactly this. It
just-
looks identical.
Yeah, I just put one in.
Yeah, they
few
work
weeks ago,
fantastic.
and,
So,
yeah.
but my point is, in a quick fix or in a case like this where it's an older vehicle, he's just trying to get it by. I learned about the K-Seal through somebody that's I don't remember how I learned about it, but I did. And Napa carries it, and it works. Now, not every Napa store does, but they can get it through their system. So if they don't have it, they can go through the warehouse, pick it up, get it, and it works great. Guys, let's take a quick break. When we come back, one line open is all 303-477-5600. Ken in Denver has a license plate question, and Wayne has 2 questions. We'll get both of those as soon as we come back right after this. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's Gino'sAutoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple, and it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N AirTake system replaces the maze with a single custom engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower, a dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
All right, and we are back. Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, along with Dorsey Johnson from Arvada West. 303-477-5600. Great questions that are lined up, by the way, so please hang with us. Wayne is up next. Wayne, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, good morning, John.
Hey,
Dorsey.
good morning, Wayne.
Neither one of you guys sound like you ate too much turkey, so you're doing well.
Oh, man, I ate way too much.
Yeah, had a day to work it
on
off.
this 13 Savannah of mine with a 5.3, I know you say there's never a dumb question, but I think I'm getting real close. I don't know. I keep having the feeling that this clutch fan is pulling all the time driving around town. I can hear it in the background just lightly, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if it's me, but is there any way of testing those things at all?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
Not for what you're talking about. I mean,
not for that problem.
It's working. The question is it working more than it should be? And there's no way to really put a thermometer or anything along those lines on it to determine what's going on.
Well, I haven't really had a problem with it. I haven't had a chance to check my mileage or anything. I just kind of feel like it's pulling more than it should. But I'll just have to live with it, I guess. I know at one time it was probably saturated with antifreeze.
Okay.
And I don't know if that would have anything to do with it or not, but
no, it shouldn't have anything to do with it.
It just,
Yeah,
sometimes they'll get so bad that you can't even turn them when the car is cold.
Right.
Yeah, I did try that, and it seems turned pretty free.
Okay,
you know,
then that
when
part's
it's cold,
good then.
so
Okay.
I don't know. Also, I had something happen to me, and I've been changing my own oil and filter for over 60 years. And I put a lot of K&N filters on too, and my oil filter. And I put an oil filter on, changed the oil with Mobil 1, and drove it around. And yesterday I noticed a drip, so I got under there. And that dadgum filter was loose. I mean, I could just turn it back pretty easily with my hand, and it was dripping oil. Have you guys heard of anything with those O-ring type filters that leak like that?
No, not the only thing that I've ever seen happen on those, Wayne, is if the old O-ring or gasket gets left behind, and then it through the course of the drive in a day or two, that comes out, that splits, comes apart, whatever, and it goes away, then it could loosen up the other, then the other seal becomes loose and it starts to leak. That's the only thing I've ever seen happen that way.
I can't figure this out. I wiped the seat for that off.
Okay.
I always
So
wipe them off
there
well,
then.
so I know the gasket wasn't in there. But
How
and
tight are you tightening it once you put it on?
Well, I've been doing it like I always do. I bring it down to its seats, and then I turn it about 3/4 of a turn. Actually, I couldn't turn it any farther
That's
than
correct.
that.
Yeah, no, that's the right
under
way
there
to do it.
with my hand. And so I've never had any problem with any filters, any of them I've ever used. And this one came loose. So, what I did is I got under there and I tightened it hand tight, and then I put that 3/4 wrench on the nut, and I turned it just a hair more.
That's fine.
Do you think that-
with
I hope I
with
didn't
those having a
over-tighten that
nut on
gasket.
them that you can do that with, you won't have any risk of getting it back off. You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to ruin that gasket.
No, you're fine.
But it didn't look like it squeezed out or
You'll
anything.
be okay.
Well, it's funny. I never had that happen before. I thought maybe you guys might have heard something off the wall that was going on with it. But
Are you inclined to put some oil on the gasket before you?
I
screw
do.
the
I always
filter on?
oil the gasket.
Perfect.
Everything with clean oil and all that. I even take a paper towel and take some of the oil off the top of the filter because I know it's an anti-grain back, so it's going to run out of the side of the filter eventually.
You know, I don't know about K&N, but the guys from Wix Technology are telling us now not to oil the gasket. Put it on dry. Yep.
Is that an O-ring or a flat gasket?
It's a flat gasket.
Now, this is an O-ring. I don't know if it makes any difference or not.
Well, we have some in the Wix line or in the Napa Gold line that are O-rings too. So
I have never put one on dry.
Me
I don't
neither.
know. You know, I guess I can try it.
We've been doing that for about a year since the guys from Wix advised it, and we haven't had any trouble at all.
Well, that's something I can try. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
You talk about a beautiful day. My thermometer in the shade showing 62, so I'm going to get out there and do something.
Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
You guys have a good one.
You
Very
too,
nice
Wayne.
talking to you.
Thank you.
for
Happy
your help.
Thanksgiving. Appreciate you calling in very much. Let's go to Ken, who's up next. Line open, by the way, 303-477-5600. Ken, welcome to Drive Radio.
Yeah, thank you. I've got a 1935 Ford 5-window coupe.
Okay.
And I've got a horseless carriage license plate on it, and it's been on there for 15 years, and my renewal I just sent in. Last night at 7 o'clock, a Denver police or parking police gal came around, gave me a ticket for not having a front license plate. Now, when they gave me that plate, they only gave me one.
Correct.
And they said to put it on the rear.
That's right.
And I've never had a problem.
Nope. You had somebody that was being just super anal last night that just didn't have anything better to do.
So
I wouldn't worry about it. How much money is the ticket?
$75.
You want to fight it?
Yeah.
I think I would.
Yeah.
I'd go fight it.
So what do you think I need to take to prove that, it's horseless?
I would just take your registration, prove that it's a horseless, you'd prove on there that it's a horseless carriage. I would take a visual, take a picture of the vehicle, the license plate, where it's mounted. It'll say horseless carriage, of course, right on it. I'd take all that into the DA and say, this thing needs thrown away.
Okay.
I'm not an attorney, but that's what I would do if it were me. That's a bunch of nonsense.
They have the referees down there. Is that where I should go?
Yeah, I mean, it's like an assistant DA or whatever.
Okay.
Now, what city was this in, so we can tell all the rest of our folks about it?
Denver.
So, guys in Denver, wake up. That's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
And that might be a topic for my daily show, Ken. I might work that in because that's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, what really gets me now, I have to find the time and
that's right.
Go down there and try to park and waste my time and take.
Where were you at when that happened?
Right in front of my house. I was parked out in front of my house.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
You might even try making just a phone call on that to start with and see if they'll do something even over the phone so you don't waste a bunch of time driving down there.
Yeah.
They may look at that and say, yeah, that's a mistake. That just needs to go away, and they may not require you to come in. I'd call first before I did anything.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do that first.
Okay.
All right, Ken. Appreciate it.
All righty.
All right, thank you. That's just some meter maid trying to generate revenue. Sorry, folks. Just meeting a quota. That's my view. Sorry.
The meter maid thing out there, but I figured out.
Meter maid, meter maiden, Mr. Meter maid. I don't. Whoever it is, come on, go do something that matters. There are people out there being robbed, pilfered, stolen from, etc., and you're writing a $70 ticket for a guy that doesn't have a front license plate. Get a life. Sorry, folks, I get upset over this stuff because it's just ridiculous. It's the micromanaging of our government on top of us, and that stuff needs to go away. Sorry, I hate to get upset, but that's just a bunch of nonsense. All right, what was the first year? Speaking of downtown Denver, what was the first year the city and county building was lit up for Christmas? We've got some more tickets to give away. One more pair left is all Larry's saying. Call us, 303-477-5600, 303-477-5600. Let's get Kenny, who's up next, right before the break. Kenny, what's going on today?
Well, you hit a sore spot on me when it came to the parking tickets, because, I got one too, and I see other people parking where I got a ticket and they've yet to get a ticket. But my question is, I know you guys encouraged Napa and the cave, but I bought some fuel injector cleaner.
Okay.
For $4 a can, a bottle. How much is in here? 12 fluid ounces. And I like the 44K. I've never used it that I can remember anyway.
What brand did you buy?
It's called Restore.
Okay.
And the 44K is like $25 a can, I think.
Right.
Versus $4. Why would me as a consumer want to spend 4 times the amount?
If you want it to work,
you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've used this, and I've called a number of times, and the fuel injector. I've never had any work done on my fuel injector, and I can clean this out and see what happens. And some of my problems have gone away. And thanks to you folks, because I called about a tire one time, and that sure enough was the problem. And but me as a consumer, I know you get what you pay for. I understand that. Like the 44K, they say once a year.
Right.
And with this, it says every 3,000 miles. But even though
so basically that tells me right off the bat that they're selling you it's not watered down, probably isn't the right terminology, but they're selling you a product that you could use 4 times a year, where BG is going to tell you to use the product once a year. That tells you right off the bat, it's got to have some dilution in it compared to what 44K is.
Yeah, I was looking for some ingredients.
Yeah, and you probably won't find it because most of that stuff is very, very proprietary to the manufacturers. They don't let that information out because that's what that's their formula, that's their secret recipe. So they don't let that stuff out onto the market. They'll tell you what's in it, but they will not tell you the quantities of it. Yeah. And by the way, folks listening, we get no kickback, sponsorship, etc. from 44K, from BG. We probably should get them as a sponsor, but I've never had any, money affiliation with 44K. I just know it's a product that since I was a kid, I'm talking, literally the last 40 years, I've been around and used their products. And anytime you're around a product that long, and you know how it works, and you know the guys that stand behind it, it's a tough product not to push.
Well, the 44K is used specifically and still is used in Denver police cars for their fleet tests. They run those motors pretty hard, and they run them a lot of miles. They bring them up to the 44K distributor to Ken's and Leslie. They take them apart, take the motor out, take it apart, tear it all down, and they show you the valves, they show you the cylinders, the pistons, everything. You can see what's going on in that car, and then they'll take one that they didn't run it in or ran something cheap in, and they'll lay it on the same table, and you see what it doesn't do.
Right. And again, I'm just one that I feel it's just a value. It's just what you get, what you pay for. Nothing. I'm not going to badmouth the Restore product, but you can tell just from the bottle that if you can use it every 3,000 miles, it's not the same potency that 44K is.
Right. That's like the MOA versus what other stuff. And, it's a better product.
That's right.
And but that was my question, as a consumer.
Appreciate it.
You. You're welcome.
You bet. Thanks for the phone call. With that, we've got a quick break coming up. Mickey has some suggestions for us. My Uncle Bill is actually back out at the car show. We'll get an update from him on the great car show, by the way, that's going on down at the convention center, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. We'll get an update on that. And the line's open, 303-477-5600. I'm your host, John Rush, along with Dorsey Johnson, and we'll be back right here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than, if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
All right, we are back. Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush, along with Dorsey Johnson, and I have my Uncle Bill that's back on the phone from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. So, Bill, what else is going on?
Hey, for those that like motorcycles, well, I'll tell you what, they got some fantastic bikes here. Custom bikes that are just, there's just a ton of them. I would guess there's probably 75 or 80 at least.
Wow.
And gorgeous custom bikes and a very, very nice display. And the place is full of people, and it's a busy thing right at the moment. And I think that it's going to go on here for several more hours. The auction starts here about 11 o'clock, and so we should be ready to go. So
awesome.
Try and come on down.
Awesome. Well, we've given away all of our free tickets. I'm going to email Deeds the phone numbers and the names of the folks. So folks listening that have won tickets, I'll get this emailed off right away. You should be able to go down here in a little bit to Will Call and get your tickets. So Bill, I'll have all that. I'll send you an email with it also, so you've got a copy of it, and we'll send more people down to you.
Hey, super duper. It's a great place to be right now.
That's awesome. Well, I will try to get down there tomorrow and appreciate it. Let's see if we can see if you can give us a call one more time during our last hour.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Mickey, who's up next. Line's open, by the way, 303-477-5600. Mickey, what's going on?
Hi, John. How you doing this morning?
We're doing great.
I'm from the Great White North, formerly upstate New York, where it gets brutal.
Are you there now, or are you from there?
I'm from there. A long time.
Awesome. Got it. Okay.
Anyway, the cheap trick for I heard on the first hour, the guy that had his doors.
Yes.
Froze
yeah,
shut.
doors were froze shut. Yeah.
If you use just plain old bar soap, for washing your hands.
Yeah.
That works good for lubing up your seals. Either that or your winter survivor kit. You should have a candle. Some candle wax will keep it.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. And the bar soap I'd forgotten about. You're right about that. I've never done the candle wax, but I've done bar soap before.
The other thing we used to use the candle wax for, it was kind of messy, but you hit the rims on where your window, your side window, your roll down window meets the glass, and tip up that edge. You slide the soap in there and slide it up and down. Your windows don't freeze shut.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the soap is and then we all know the soap's just a lubricant, basically, at the end of the day.
Yep, and it's a lot cheaper than replacing an electric motor.
Yeah, that's true. No, good point. That's a great idea. Yeah.
But just regular car wax will do the same thing, and it helps on the windows, and it keeps them from frosting up as much. And it's still a good idea to put that wax on your plastic headlights so that they don't do easy.
Yeah, no, that's a definite for sure. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, that helps a ton.
Okay, that was my
Hey,
thought.
good stuff, Mickey. Appreciate the tips. Thanks so much for calling in. By the way, anybody else that wants to add to that, any other tips, questions, comments? Beautiful Saturday afternoon. It's as crystal clear right now as you can imagine. If there was any leftover air inversion from the other day, it's gone because the wind's taken all that out of here, and it is just crystal clear today. Again, our phone number 303-477-5600. Call us with anything that you want to talk about. We'd love to have you on. And let's see, what have I got next in store for us? I had all sorts of stuff to talk about today. So now that we've got a break in the action, let's do this. So I got a tech tip from David up in Idaho. And appreciate David emailing these in each and every week. The front suspension on trucks is one item that is often overlooked, but is quick and easy for the DIY person to check when you're performing maintenance. Take a floor jack under the lower control arm or axle tube. You want to raise the wheel so it's about an inch off the ground. Now, with the wheel unloaded, take a pry bar, place it under the tire, and raise the wheel. Depending upon the pry bar, a block of wood might be needed for extra leverage. As you are raising the wheel, watch for movement in the ball joints. A little is okay, but anything more than 1/8 of an inch will require some sort of future service, a replacement, etc. Service meaning you're going to have to replace the ball joints. Also, while the wheel is off the ground, take the wheel and at 9 and 3 o'clock position, try to move the wheel back and forth. Again, watch the steering leakage ends for any play. Great tips, David, on how to check a front suspension or front steering and components on your own. And that's exactly, by the way, when we do ball joint inspections, et cetera, in the shops, that's exactly how we do them. That's the correct way to actually check them. And by the way, I should mention, when he's talking about pry bar, we're not talking about a screwdriver that's about 1 foot long. You need a good long 3 or 4 foot pry bar, or get a big 2x4 or something where you can put some pressure on that tire. A 2x4, horizontal, vertical, up and down, not horizontal, but vertical, where you've got some stiffness to it. Right. You could even use something along those lines, but you need something that's got some good length to get some pressure, not enough to, of course, lift off the jack, but enough to where you can really tell if there's any play, in those ball joints, in the suspension, et cetera. Make sense?
You'll feel a hub bearing that way.
That's exactly right. All right. Lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Let's go to Stephen, who is up next. Stephen, welcome. Stephen, are you there? Welcome to Drive Radio. Hello, Steve. Are you there?
Yes.
Hey, welcome. What's going on?
I received, there was a fault code generated for a crankshaft position sensor.
Okay.
And my car started stalling, and it seemed like, everyone was kind of saying that was the reason why. Well, I took it to the dealer, and he kind of cleared out all the codes, I think thinking that would repopulate.
Okay.
And it never did.
What are you driving, by the way?
This is a 2002 Pontiac Grand Prix. It's the 3800 engine, 6-cylinder. And my dilemma is someone else had commented on this and said that they said, fix your crankshaft position code and your problem will be resolved. I guess that seems that's foreign to me, what that means.
So
does that sound plausible to you?
So the dealer just cleared the code. They didn't do anything else?
Nope, the dealer just cleared the codes, and I just had gone 2 separate days for them to run it. It's the only car I had, so I wasn't able to really,
they probably weren't able to regenerate the symptom or problem.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can get crankshaft position sensor codes kind of intermittently. It may take a while for that code to regenerate, but they are common on that year, make, and model of General Motors car to have a CKP, is what we call them, crankshaft position sensor code. And it's not always the sensor. And that's probably what they want to be careful about, is not just putting a sensor on, then you still got the problem. Sometimes it's the wiring harness. Some other times it's the harmonic balancer. And there's a shutter wheel on the back of the harmonic balancer that comes loose too.
No, thank you.
So you can have several things that cause that code to crop up in there.
So are you suggesting I just kind of keep driving it and wait for the code to to populate.
I would, as long as they've physically also inspected the balancer and the wheel behind it. You might double check with them and make sure they've done that.
Yeah, I don't think they did any of that. If it was those other things, you're saying it would still give the same code.
It could give the same code, but that doesn't mean the sensor itself is bad. That's right.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much.
You bet you. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Andy, who's next. Andy, welcome. What's going on today?
Yeah, talking about that guy with the license plate thing.
Yes.
He doesn't have to go through any inconvenience. We got a ticket with the handicap sticker on the rearview mirror hanging.
Okay.
And the law in Denver is you can park for 4 hours for free if you have the handicap sticker showing.
Okay.
And I had the regulation laying on the dashboard with the handicap sticker on the mirror, and I still got a ticket.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. All he has to do is just send it back to the address that's on that ticket. To tell him what he had, just explain it to him, and if he's got the regulation, he can send a copy of the regulation.
That's a great idea, and on top of that, I'd take a quick picture of it so they can prove where it's mounted on the vehicle and send that back in, and maybe it'll just go away.
Yep, that's what I did too.
Yeah,
I
great
send
idea.
it to them, and they won't even acknowledge it. They won't say your ticket's clear. You won't hear from them. And that happened a month ago. So
awesome.
Yep, that's all.
Okay,
well,
good tip. Appreciate that,
All
Andy.
right.
Thanks for calling in. Appreciate that very much. So,
wonder what happens if you end up getting a boot on your car, just because they didn't see it or something.
Anyways, I'm going to be quiet. Lines open. 303-477-5600. As soon as we come back, Richard in Wyoming will get right to your phone call. And then we had a question come in via email from Mike Dorsey. I'll let you think about this through the break. Wants to know if the top tier fuels, when we get into the mid and upper grades, do they in fact have more add packs to make it more of a value to buy versus just the standard grade gasoline? We'll talk about those when we come back. Don't go away. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet One. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. John Rush, Dorsey 'Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Richard in Wyoming, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for calling us.
Hey, I've got a 93 Toyota T100 with a 3.0 V6 in it.
Okay.
I was wondering, is that motor an interference motor for the timing belt or what?
I don't remember. Dorsey, do you know
93 T100? I think it was a chain.
No, it's got a timing belt in it. It's a 3.0. Yeah, it does.
It's the 3.0.
3 liter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, V6.
Yeah, that one has a belt.
Yeah, that one does. Yeah, this one does.
Yeah. Have you changed it lately?
Well, I got the truck used from a relative, and it was changed with 51,000 miles on it. But that was 2001, and it's got 77 on it now.
Yeah, normally what they call the shelf life on the belt, once it's taken out of the packaging, is 7 years.
7 years, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm overdue for that.
Yeah, especially with our humidity the way it is. I've seen them at 50,000 miles and 8 years old, and the belt just looks horrible.
So, is there any way I can find out if that's an interference motor?
You know, I think John's looking.
Trying
it
to
up,
look
and
right
if you
now as
keep
quickly as I
listening, we
can.
Get back to you.
Yeah,
on that.
it'll take me a second to look it up.
Most
I'm gonna
of the
get to it as quick
Toyota
as I can.
motors were, but I'm not too sure about that 3.0. We don't see a lot of those anymore.
Yeah, it's a pretty good motor.
It was a good motor, yeah.
So, hey, I'm up here in Glendale, and when I go out on the lake, I can get you in my fishing boat.
Hey.
What kind of fish are in Glendale? I've never fished there. Are they bass or?
Mostly walleye, and it's really good fishing.
I used to have a friend of mine that went up to Glendale 2 or 3 times a year in the summertime. Really loved it.
You use a needle and you blow air into worms and then drag them on the bottom.
No, that's kind of old school now. You got to pay the big bucks for the jigging spoons and stuff they have.
Oh yeah.
According to my results, I just looked up. It does show that being an interference engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toyota was big on that. Of course, they wanted a little more performance, so the valve's down when the piston can come up and hit it.
So I guess I better get on that pretty soon, huh?
I think, yeah, and you know, interference or not, you don't want to get stuck on the side of the road anyways, but yeah, definitely with an interference engine, yes, you definitely want to make sure that you're covered that way.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll sure check it out then.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Richard, appreciate it very much. Thanks for listening. He far north up in Wyoming. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it very much. Shows how far our signal actually goes. So, all right, we're going to talk about for just a moment top tier gas. This is always a hot topic when we're here on Drive Radio. Never a week goes by when we get into this that we don't get a lot of phone calls from it, and that's fine. That's what we want. So I'm going to give you the new listing of top tier stations. I did this a couple of weeks ago. And on top of that, we had a question. Is there an advantage, or, you know, is there better ad packs, if you would, in the mid and upper grade fuels on top tier? And by the way, there's a lot more stations listed now in Colorado that have, or that are now top tier rated. And you have to wonder, is a lot of that because of us here on the radio, you know, giving you guys information on where to buy fuel? Is it from you guys, you know, even calling in, talking, dealers, you know, feedback, etc.? You know, it makes you wonder. We've got a lot more today than we had even 3 months ago. So here's the new listings. Conoco, Costco, Diamond Shamrock, Phillips 66, Shell, Sinclair, Suncor, and Valero. Those are all the new stations that I know of in Colorado that carry top tier fuel. The you know, 7-Elevens and your Quick Marts and your grocery stores are not top tier listed at this point. They may be on down the road. So just as a side note, not picking on anybody, but there's a grocery store chain right now advertising their 4 times fuel bucks or 4 times fuel points or whatever they call it. You know what? They can have them. I'll buy fuel where I need to make sure my vehicle runs like it should, and they can keep their cheap gas. Dorsey, is there an advantage to the mid and upper grades, top tier fuels we're talking? You know, how does that work out with the ad packs, et cetera?
Well, usually what they blend is whatever their chemical ad pack is and whatever it takes to meet the car manufacturers that brought up top tier fuel and set the standard. They have to have a full dose of that, 100% in the premium. They usually put half a dose 50% in the mid-grade and a quarter dose in the just regular unleaded. So yeah, when you go up, you get more chemicals and add packs.
And Dorsey's a guy, by the way, and I'll just say this for him. He's done a bunch of testing, even on his own vehicles. And he's got one vehicle in particular where I think, Dorsey, you've determined you can run mid-grade in that vehicle and get better fuel economy, thereby offsetting what the extra cost is, and off you go.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the things that's brought this about too, we've got to look at gasoline direct injection.
Good point.
GDI is a super carbon builder because it lives on what we call the rugged edge of lean rich.
Okay, and let's stop. I'm going to stop Dorsey for just 1 second. We've got some time. By the way, lines are open. Call us. We'll get you right on, but we're going to talk about this through the end of the break. So if you want to call through the break, feel free. 303-477-5600. What is, I know, you know, some of our listeners know, but most don't. What is direct injection, and why is a high-quality fuel so important in direct injection?
Well, direct injection, the injector puts the fuel right into the center of the combustion chamber.
Versus the old days, we had fuel injection or carburation. In the old days, the carburetor sat on top of the manifold. It had venturis where the gas was mixed with air. It atomized. It went down into the intake plenum. It was sucked in, went through the intake valves, into the engine, etc. Then came fuel injection, which put the injector sometimes in the plenum itself as close to the head as possible. And then later, some of that went into the head itself, but still not directly into the combustion chamber. It was still mixing the air with the fuel injector at that point in time. Now we've got the advent where the injector is directly into the combustion chamber.
Yeah, and there's a puddle cup in the middle of the piston where that gas is supposed to sit right in that puddle cup, and then the spark hits the same place and off goes the combustion. And what happens is they're finding there's enough leftover gases and carbon building agents left in the combustion chamber that it floats up right around the backs of the intake valves and gets on those. And it builds.
And it's harder than what it typically is with the gas coming in the backside of the valve initially, because it's not washing up.
It's not
the old days. The old days, the fuel itself cleaned the back of the valve. That won't happen with fuel injection cleaner even today. Got it.
So
more important to have a high quality fuel to start with.
Exactly. They want a high quality detergent in there. And like if you ever listen to NASCAR radio, you'll hear commercial after commercial from BG with their gas, diesel, and gas direct injection carbon cleaner to put in your fuel.
Got it.
And it changes some of the volatility factors and reduces some of the fumes and helps you keep that.
So everybody out there listening is probably saying, well, do I have a direct, do I have a direct injection engine or not? Well, I can't answer that. Every vehicle is going to be a little different. Since about 2008, direct injection became a little more popular here in the U.S. It's been very popular on European cars for even years before that. But by now, 2014, 2015, I would say even 2012 and newer, most every car 2012 and newer has some sort of direct injection engine in it. Wouldn't you say, Dorsey?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, all these new cars I'm test driving and giving you guys reviews on, etc., the majority have direct injection engines. That's how the increase in performance is coming up. Our fuel economy is coming up. And by the way, they're doing that with getting compression ratios way up. There's some gas engines today running around that have higher compression ratios. Some of you guys out there listening aren't going to believe this. They're higher than the old muscle cars were back in the 70s. I mean, we're talking 13 and a half, 14 to 1 compression ratios in a gasoline engine, and they control detonation through direct injection. Everything Dorsey just mentioned.
Right.
So all the more reason why you need to use top tier fuel only. Again, those stations are in Colorado. Once you get out of Colorado, they can change. So look at the Top Tier Fuels website. But Conoco, Costco Wholesale, Diamond Shamrock, Phillips 66, Shell, Sinclair, Suncor, and Valero. Those are your top tier stations here in Colorado. And guys, when we come back, one thing I want to talk about also, there's going to be some changes coming up here in about 4 weeks, is Air Care Colorado is making changes to the emissions program. I just got a letter as a fleet operator the other day. It was a reminder that these changes are coming. We will talk about those when we come back. So stay with us. Lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Again, I'm your host, John Rush, with Dorsey Johnson from Arvada West. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Cause when you're still so near, down in my mind, it's not the perfume that you wear, it's all the ribbons in your hair. And I don't mind you coming in, wasting all my time.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Greg Moore. People are once again protesting in Ferguson, Missouri. Authorities say there have been 16 more arrests. Hundreds of people protesting the grand jury decision in the shooting death of Michael Brown, demonstrating outside police headquarters in Ferguson. Police and Missouri National Guard soldiers forcing some people to the ground, binding their hands and ankles with zip ties. Missouri Governor Jay Nixon, meanwhile, wants a special session with state lawmakers to help approve the costs of the recent protests and riots in Ferguson. The governor contacting political leaders in a phone call Friday night, saying the legislature has to approve additional money in order to pay National Guard soldiers and highway patrol officers. The governor announcing that the state will make available $625,000 in zero-interest loans to help businesses damaged and destroyed in the protests earlier this week. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to The Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is The Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to The Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560.
Randy Corcoran at 5, Laura Ingram at 8. Monday morning on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question.
This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, John Rush, your host. Dorsey Johnson in studio with me from Arvada West. KLZ 560 is the station. Drive Radio is the program each and every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you're listening on Sunday, it's noon to 2, the last 2 hours, and you can catch our podcast. Matt gets those up on the server, and I get those edited as quickly as I can. But by Sunday morning, you typically have access to all 3 hours, and we stick those up just as soon as we can. So, lines open. 303-477-5600. We'll get you right on the phone as quickly as we can. Again, 303-477-5600. And my Uncle Bill is actually out at the car show. And what's our next update?
Hey, John, I'm in the American National Insurance booth, Chrome Insurance.
Awesome.
These guys, insure classic cars and hot rods and custom cars and so on. And they're giving away a book that's written by Charles Clark about the flathead Ford engines.
Oh, okay.
And Paul is giving these away. Charles is here, and he's signing the books. If people want to stop by, and they'd be more than happy to give him one of these free books, and it's terrific. It tells all about Ford flathead engines, a lot of stuff you don't ever know.
That's awesome.
Also, the other cars here that are of interest, I think, that people should know about. This isn't just about hot rods and custom cars and race cars. There are other cars here, classic cars, a 59 Chevrolet convertible. It's just unbelievable in Impala. A 1952 Allard J2X with the Cadillac engine in. Now, those were cars that were primarily built in England without engines, and then you kind of put your own engine in. So there's some with flathead Fords. There's some with Chrysler Hemi engines. This one happens to have a Cadillac V8 in it. And there's only about 40 of these cars left in the world.
Wow.
And so there's other cars just besides hot rods and customs that and race cars that people can everything is here. I mean, without a check.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, and in fact, you got to ride in this car. I had the car for a week. The new 2015 Jaguar F-Type. We had the R model, which is the 550 horsepower, really a hot rod. You rode in that car. I think that car's there also, isn't it?
Yeah, So they've got a white one here from Siltahar Motors.
Okay.
Siltahar's got a nice collection of their performance cars, Maseratis and Aston Martins and the Jaguars, and there's some gorgeous cars here. So
awesome.
Other things that people can enjoy besides, and there's some pretty good food around here as well.
Well, and that's a great family event. And again, my uncle's out at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. It's on until 9 p.m. tonight. On tomorrow until 6 p.m. starts at 10 a.m. in the mornings. We gave some tickets away, actually as many as what we were allowed to give away. They went pretty fast. And anyways, I hope you're having a great time out there, Bill, and lots of folks, stopping by. And I wanted to mention real fast also that Paul, who is one of our sponsors here on Drive Radio from American National Insurance, Chrome as we know him. He actually also has been instrumental in getting ANPAC to be a major sponsor, helping out with the trophies, etc. And if I'm not mistaken, Bill, doesn't he have last year's winner in his booth?
Oh yeah. Paul has done a great job, and he's a great car guy, and he's done a lot of good for this business. I'll tell you. Getting these cars insured, these specialty cars, is not a simple thing to do anymore.
Right.
Lots of companies don't even want to talk to you, but these guys do, and they're great people, and Paul's just an awesome guy, and stop by and see him.
Awesome.
Be sure and pick up one of the books.
All right, we'll do that. I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
Hey,
if you get an opportunity, call us in one more time, and we'll get you on before the end of the show today. So appreciate my uncle taking time out of his day. I know he loves it, though. I mean, he eats this stuff up, so it wasn't hard for him didn't have to strong arm him much to get him to go out there and do that. Dorsey, he's a guy that enjoys doing that, and I appreciate it very much. He and my dad both are out there. But Paul Leuenberger from American National, his number 303-619-9891. And my uncle's being very, very kind to Paul. And I'll just keep adding to what my uncle was saying. Paul has been huge in helping that event even move beyond where it was in the Coliseum, et cetera. Not saying that Paul's the only guy that's done that, but he's been very instrumental. He's helped a ton. He does a lot with a lot of car shows here in town. And as my uncle said, he does a lot making sure those older vehicles get insured. But as Paul has said himself, even on our show here, if you're driving a late model car that's a little bit more special and you want to make sure you keep it insured at a higher value than what you normally would be able to do, maybe it's a custom Jeep or a custom pickup or a car like that F-Type Jaguar I was just talking about, Paul can get you insured and insured properly where a lot of other companies are not going to do it the same way. And he'll save you money. He'll also do your home and save you money that way. So call Paul. He'll help you out with anything you need, 303-619-9891. So we're going to talk about the emissions program. I tell you what, we've got time. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, that'll give us a little bit longer time to talk about the emissions side of the fence. But do I need to go about another minute first? Okay, that's okay. We'll just talk about it now. Matt's working on some engineering stuff on the other sides of the glass, so no problem. Let's just talk about that, Dorsey, right now. So let me bring my info up and get back to it. So here we go, step by step. And Dorsey knows way more about this than I do, but I'm going to give you the changes that are coming January 2nd of 2015. First and foremost, when you get your little re-registration or your renewal in the mail, it will say whether emissions test is required or not. That's the first thing you look at. Exemptions for new vehicles will increase from 4 years to 7 years. So a 2011 vehicle, for example, will not need an inspection until 2018. New vehicles are staying cleaner for longer, which we talk about all the time here on Drive Radio. The future or the failure rate for vehicles in that age range is less than 0.4%, or an average of one failure out of every 250 vehicles inspected. Exempting additional model years will help keep lines shorter at inspection stations while continually protecting our air quality. The next item, vehicles that are 8 through 11 years old will need their onboard diagnostics, or OBD, computer system checked. If the check engine light is turned on, then these vehicles will fail the inspection and need repairs. Starting in 2015, this will apply to vehicles from the model year 2005 through 2008. So if your check engine light's on and you're driving something from 2005 to 2008, you're going to get an automatic fail. Making repairs can improve vehicle performance, make it last longer, avoid larger problems, and save money. Learn more at the EPA, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into all that.
One thing they don't tell you right there in that section, too, is that before your vehicle can be properly tested on OBD, it has to have certain critical monitors run and completed in the computer.
Makes sense.
And they have to
So if it's just had
that.
the code cleared and you went in and it hasn't ran all the monitors, you're not going to pass either.
You're not going to pass. You'll probably be redirected to go drive your car some more and bring it back.
Make sure that the monitor doesn't turn the light back on is what
Right.
they're getting at.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Vehicles that are 12 years and older will continue to get an IM240 dynamometer test. Starting in 2015, this will apply to vehicles from 1982 through 2004. The IM240 is the best way to test vehicle emissions under real-world conditions. So you'll still need a dyno test from 82 to 2004. Vehicles that are model year 81 and older will continue to get the stationary 2-speed idle test, the old test that we actually used to do inside of our own shops years ago. Hybrid vehicles that are 8 years and older will now require inspections. In 2015, model year 2008 and older hybrid vehicles will be inspected to make sure they're running clean. Hybrid vehicles will only need an OBD check and will not be run on a dynamometer. By the middle of 2015, most inspection stations will have at least 2 lanes dedicated to inspecting all-wheel drive vehicles. This will better handle the large and growing number of all-wheel drive vehicles in Colorado. Rapid screen roadside inspection remains an important part of the program, and I don't think anything there has changed on rapid screen that I could see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they haven't changed anything there.
All right, let's take a quick break. Then we'll come back. We'll take Wayne in Castle Rock. We'll continue on. The lines are open, 303-477-5600. Matt, take us away. We'll be back right after this. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Say it's the journey and not the destination. But those people...
It's all right.
Find an all...
I was surprised that you didn't.
On a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location.
I wasn't... You know what? On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because I had Jimmy Sangenberger and I had Matt Dunn, they had all different kinds of clips and stuff for me to do, so it took me a minute to get your stuff on. Friday, I didn't have anything. I was wondering. I'm like, where's John? He's probably. I'm like, I know he's going to ask me to put something off FTP. Oh, you'd give me something to do.
Jobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at ginosautoservice.com. That's ginosautoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
All right, John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, KLZ 560 Drive Radio is the show. And we have just determined that the new Air Care Colorado program has just gotten way more confusing than it's ever been in the past. The reality is, folks, if you're driving something that's 2009 or newer, you will not need a test. Now, this isn't for diesels, gas engines. 2009 and newer, you won't need to mess with anything. The synopsis is 2005 through 8, you're going to need to have a test done and make sure that your check engine light is not on. And then prior to that, we'll go back to the where you're going to run on the dyno and do everything like it's been in the past. So that part won't change at all. So the model year 2005 through 08 is where your check engine light won't be able to be on. Anyways, to Dorsey's point, it just got a lot more confusing than it's ever been in the past. Let's go to Wayne in Castle Rock. Wayne, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, guys. My old Subaru is just that. It's getting old and it's getting worn out, and I want to replace it. I've owned several Nissan products in the past, including several Maximas. That's what I was thinking about again. But in the age between, say, 2002 and 2006, how are the Maximas of those years for reliability?
I think the biggest downside the Nissans had in those years period is if there's one with a CVT transmission, those, and there's no getting around this, they did have some issues with CVT transmissions. Yeah. Non-CVTs, not an issue. But if it has a CVT, they had some issues.
And did they put the CVT transmission in the Maximas?
You know, I'd have to go back and look. To my knowledge, off the top of my head, I want to say yes, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. All right. Are there any other cars that I should be considering that would be about the same size that would be very reliable?
Well, gosh, that's a great question. You know, Camry, has been a staple for years. if you're looking 2002 to 2006 in that era, I would say, Camry, Maxima, if you find one without a CVT transmission, and I'm looking on that right now. I think some Maximas did have CVT transmissions in those years. Again, I've got to verify that. I'm looking at just some quick references, and I don't always rely on quick references because they're not always 100% accurate, but I think it depends on the engine that it had in it as to whether or not there was CVTs. I don't know, what other small four-door car, Dorsey, would work well in that 2002 to 2006? Ford Fusion, Camry. Avalons were a great car, actually fantastic. That's one of the best cars, in my opinion, dollar for dollar on the market is Toyota Avalon. Chevy Impala, Chevy Malibu, Buick Regals. The LaCrosse is a great car, actually, for its size. Really anything in that era that you can, the biggest thing in that era that you're going to have to worry about is getting it checked out first.
Sure.
Because it depends in every car. It's going to depend upon who drove it, how well was it maintained, was it taken care of properly, et cetera. Because any vehicle in that era that I just mentioned could be a great car or a terrible car, depending upon who drove it and how it was maintained.
Okay. Now, how can I tell if it has a CVT transmission?
It will not have any shift points in the transmission itself. And it'll tell you in the owner's manual that it has a CVT, and it will not have and you go look at the selector, it'll just have, drive. Some of the later model CVTs added a sport option, but typically there's a drive only. That's it. In those years, they didn't give you a lot of options.
Okay. All right. Super. Appreciate the help.
And I believe you can go to, let me give you a website that you can check to see on the CVT transmission side of the fence. I think if you just go to Jatco's website, Jatco is the one that made the CVT transmissions for Nissan in those years, still does. If you go to Jatco's website, I think it'll give you a listing of those transmissions, what they were in, what vehicles, etc. And I'm looking real quick, just on a quick reference now that we've got just a second, in those years to see if Maxima was listed. Because I know the new Maximas have CVTs, so I'm guessing that those older ones did also. Oh, and the other one is the Mazda. The little Mazdas are a great vehicle too in that vintage years.
Okay. All right.
Now that I almost forgot about Mazda. They built a great car now for a number of years.
What model do they make that's about the same size as the Maxima?
Either six.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which the Mazda's a sleeper. That's been really a very, very solid car for quite some time. Nope, and I think I just lost Wayne. That's okay. Well, I think Wayne got the gist of that. But yeah, the Mazdas, which has been just a great vehicle. Again, they're a lot like for a long time, I was going to say they're a lot like Honda, but for years, and that again, the Honda, the Civics would be another great vehicle in that same era. So, so Wayne, if you're listening, Civic, Accord, the Accord's a little bigger. It's like the Maxima versus Sentra. Same thing with Accord versus Civic. Any of those, by the way, would work great, Wayne. So just continue to look. If you got other questions, call us back. Most of all, make sure you get a pre-purchase inspection done on it prior to purchase, not after. Prior to purchase. Let's go to Tom in Lakewood, who's up next. Line open, by the way, 303-477-5600. Tom, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, appreciate you taking my call. Long time listening. You guys do a great show.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm working on a 87 Camaro project, and so I'm going to put a LS2 of the T56 in it. My question is in regards to emissions. I've talked to the state, to the technical line, I guess, and my understanding is that I have to do a verification, I guess, of an engine swap. But then regards to the emissions, I need to have basically all the initial emissions equipment that came with that model and year.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm kind of looking at.
Which is the dumbest thing under the sun. Why they do it that way is beyond me, because the reality is you could go out and convert to something that came out of a 2012, well, you can actually go down to GM and buy a kit engine that actually has all the emissions devices on it that far surpass what your 87 ever came with, have it be cleaner, but because of their stupid rules, you'll still have to have what an 87 came with.
Yeah. Or better?
or better, but they'll have to be the ones that define what better is.
Okay.
In other words, if it had an air pump in 87, you'll have to fight with them to not have an air pump now. Now, it's possible to get them to give you a waiver for not having an air pump on a new vehicle if you can prove that you've gotten, a better result with what you have now versus what was there in 87.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
We have a stupid system when it comes to that side of the fence.
Yeah.
Frankly, we have a stupid system with the whole Air Care Colorado program in general, if you ask me, because what you're doing to your vehicle right now is going to far surpass and be cleaner than what it was in 87, but yet you still have to jump through these hoops.
Very good, sir.
Yeah, what model of Camaro are you using?
It's an IROC.
It's an IROC. So originally that thing came with dual cats, which are I've replaced a few of those, and they're really a funky, expensive cat.
Okay.
So,
yeah, and that's the stuff that you might be able to change only if you can prove that what you've done is better than what it was in 87, which frankly doesn't take a lot to be better than what we had in 87 because the 80s weren't that great.
Right.
You shouldn't have much. The biggest thing you'll need to do is try to get to a good inspector that really understands it, gets you all the waivers that you need so that if you go to sell the vehicle, everything stands with the vehicle, etc., where it's not a problem for the next guy you sell it to.
So I should probably go build a relationship with one of these guys.
Yes, that's exactly what you need to do. Ask lots of questions, go to the same guy every time, get him involved in the process, build that relationship. You'll be a lot better off in the end.
Well, if you don't mind, since I have you on the line, so any other comments about my plans or my direction with this?
No, you're going about it the right way. And by the way, everybody else listening, Tom's doing this correctly. Get your fact-finding done first. The last thing you want to do, Tom, is have the car put together, roll in, and now try to get an emissions test.
Right.
You are doing it exactly the way it needs to be done. And, you can, and the reality is you can get it done. I don't want to make it sound like it'll never get done. You can get it done, but it will be a process. You need to build that relationship. The biggest thing is you want to make sure at the end of the day, the car will pass no matter who owns it.
Right. Agreed.
That's the biggest challenge that you have. But at the end of the day, you can do that and have a car that still runs great, works great. And then as time goes by, eventually you won't need to have a test anymore at all. You're only about 5 years away from that, but we're not there yet. So here you go.
Well, somebody has to keep the third generation alive. So.
Well, and I appreciate guys like you that do, because there were some that was a great car built in the 80s, by the way.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
You bet. Appreciate the phone call, Tom. Thanks so much. And, we could talk all day about Air Care Colorado. I did a few weeks ago, and the overwhelming majority, all but one person that called in on a Saturday a few weeks ago, all 3 hours of it, we had one phone call that felt like we should keep our emissions program. Everybody else felt like we should get rid of it and move into a safety inspection program instead of what we have now, Dorsey. That was the consensus of the day. It just kept rolling in. Get rid of it.
Yeah, the safety inspection should have never been done away with.
Yeah, and it did. And
I worked on it. The BMW 745i I worked on yesterday had steel cord hanging out of the tires.
Car shouldn't be on the road.
No,
that car would not pass an inspection. And anyways, that's a show. We'll continue on with that. I'll do it again in the future. That was a great show we did on that day. I really enjoyed it. And the reality is, and you all know where my heart is on this, Air Care Colorado is a money-making venture. I don't think we as a state are really benefiting from that program. I think that can be seen with even some of the changes they've just made, shifting from 4 to 7 years. They've added 3 years into that. The average age on the road today is 10 years, which means we're going to test vehicles for the most part that are, in that 3-year range that we're really going to do the testing on, the 7 to 10-year-old cars. Do we really even need it? No. It's a revenue generator. I'm just being honest. I've yet to have anybody call in from Air Care Colorado even and prove me wrong, claiming the statistics that they're the ones that really have changed it, when in fact it's the cars getting better year after year after year. We just talked about direct injection a few moments ago. That alone is creating just huge leaps and bounds in the emissions area, Dorsey. And then they have to. We've got to get mileage up. And the reality is, the more the mileage increases, the more fuel we're going to burn, the less is coming out the tailpipe. They're as clean now as they've ever been, and they're just going to keep getting cleaner as time goes by.
Yeah.
So, do we need the program? No, we don't. All right. Line's open, by the way. Call us. We'll get you right on air. We got a half an hour left of Drive Radio. Scott Watley's going to join us in the last segment of the show, but call us. We'll get your questions answered. I'm your host, John Rush, with Dorsey Johnson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't know what to do? Have you been trying to fix it yourself? Arvada West is your answer. We score 100% on our success ratio. That's confidence for the customer. We are always willing to explain the repair process to you. We use a proven diagnostic format that we have developed since the emissions program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Call Arvada West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. All right, and we are back. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560. And back to the Maxima question. I did finally get that figured out. Wayne, if you're still listening, I think you're safe on the CVTs not being in the Maxima from 03 to 06 or 2002 to 2006. 2007 was the first year they started putting the CVTs in the Maxima. So there's your answer. I did finally get the exact year on that. So here's my Uncle Bill one last time in from the O'Reilly Auto Parts car show that's in downtown Denver at the convention center. So Bill, question I didn't ask earlier is where's everybody parked down there? What's the easiest way for people to do that?
Well, I think that the parking thing is there's a parking garage here that you can park in. You can park on the street. Tomorrow, the street parking is free, so you don't have to put any money in the meters or whatever.
No meter maids tomorrow.
All right,
yeah,
perfect.
no meter maids tomorrow. Anyway, but anyway, there's places to park and parking lots open and things of that nature. But the auction's going on right now. It sounds like it's going pretty good. They've sold a few cars. I'm standing here looking at for people who don't know what an Edsel is. There's two gorgeous Edsel convertibles here.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I ever, when I was a kid growing up, I don't think I ever saw an Edsel convertible, but there's two of them here.
Wow.
Nice collection of Cadillacs. There's a white Cadillac Eldorado Chrome, a 57 Cadillac Eldorado convertible, looking at a red T-Bird, a 61 Buick convertible, a 58 Chevrolet convertible. So there's just a lot of everything. We just encourage people to, take a minute, try and come down. I mean, you can even ride the light rails, drop you off right here at the front of the building.
That's true. Yeah. So if you're in an area where there's a light rail station, just get on the station, haul on down there, and off you go.
You have to transfer once. But
yeah, it'd be just great. But there's something for everybody. And we just encourage you to come out and take a look.
Yeah, great family event. So that's Uncle Bill. Appreciate you calling in. He's at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rocky Mountain Auto Show. Again, that's today and tomorrow till 9 p.m. tonight, 6 p.m. tomorrow. And I appreciate those guys taking time, calling in and giving us an update of what's going on at the show. And that's a every year Thanksgiving event. It's a great time. They moved it out of the Coliseum several years ago. It's now inside the convention center. Very nice environment. Same place the auto show is held. The Denver Auto Show, New Car Auto Show is held every spring. So again, that's a great event. You're going to want to go down there and hang out, have a good time. It's just a great family event. Whether you like cars or not, it's just a great thing to go and do and have a good time while you're at it. So Glade, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, about the new rules for the Air Care program.
Yes.
The way I understand it now, if you buy a used 2014 automobile, you are subject to the emission test when your renewal comes up, even though it's only a year old since you bought it used. Will this 7-year exemption apply to people that have purchased a used car that's a 2010?
The way they explained it to us, it will.
That it will?
It will.
So as long as
their program for testing is all computer format driven. The guys at the test lanes make no more decisions.
You would get
so
your registration.
They don't have any ability to test that car.
Well, but when you get your registration, it says you're required to have an emission test.
Yeah, I believe that's going to be changing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way they explained it to us. Our meeting was a while back, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, in the way I'm reading it, and by the way, this is coming right off the Colorado government's website. The verbiage exactly says, for example, a 2011 vehicle won't need an inspection until 2018.
Okay.
So it's not saying that, if you bought it new in 2011, it just says a 2011 vehicle will not need an inspection until 2018.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's one of the big changes, because you're right. In the past, if you bought a used vehicle, even a 2013, it would have to have an e-test. That's changing, and that will no longer be needed.
That specific question did come up in our meeting with the Department of Health and Air Care, and I'm positive that that's the way they answered it.
Yeah, because what difference does it make who owns the car or owns the car?
It doesn't.
But you have to have an emission test.
The car doesn't know who's driving it, for that matter.
That's right.
Nonetheless, who's owning it? So, I agree with you on that.
Well, like you, it is pretty much a big scam, because the amount of failures are so light.
Yep.
That.
It's a revenue. Yeah. I mean, even it's in their own data. I'm looking at it right here. So in that era, so the new vehicles that they're testing, 1 out of every 250 vehicles has some sort of a problem. That's less than 1%.
Yes. Well, I mean, it would be almost anything that's carbureted should be tested.
Yeah, but even if you look at that, Glade, how many carbureted vehicles do we even have left on the road today?
Most techs don't even know what they are.
Exactly. So we don't even have enough of those running around to even merit having a program in place to even test those. That's my side of the fence.
Most of those are collectors anyway.
Yeah. Right. That's true,
most
too.
of those are collector cars.
Yeah, most of them are going to have collector plates that aren't even getting e-tests anyways.
Yeah, and well, I've got some vehicles that I bet I don't put 3,000 miles a year on.
Right. Which would not need a test in my book.
No. I mean, I've got some old power wagons and stuff, and it's ridiculous to have that through an emission test, because it wouldn't be a daily driver.
I agree with you. I again, you guys, everybody on this show should by now know where I stand on this, including folks that are listening from the governmental side of the fence that listen to me on a regular basis. This is a time, money waster. The money and effort that goes into this program could be spent in other areas in our state, and we would be a lot better off at the end of the day.
Yeah. On another note, is your weekly show going to go to 2 hours?
Yes, it is very soon.
Okay.
Okay. Just stay tuned. I've got some announcements coming. I just can't say everything quite yet because we're not done internally getting all those changes made, but it's coming very soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Glade. I appreciate it. And thanks for your support on my program during the week, which, by the way, Rush to Reason every day at 2 p.m. here on KLZ. We talk about everything, sometimes cars even, but we talk about a lot of things that aren't car related. So I appreciate all that listen into that show. We talk about all sorts of different things. And I've got a great show coming up on Monday. It's an interesting topic. I've got a guy coming on with me on Monday that interesting. I met him or know this fella through a friend of mine. Actually used to be here at KLZ. And the topic is, what lessons can the GOP learn from Truman's win and Dewey's defeat in time for 2016? Phil White wrote a book called Whistle Stops. We'll have him on with me at 2 p.m. on Monday. So that'll be an interesting topic. So yeah, I appreciate everybody that tunes in during the week and listens in. I appreciate it very much. All right. So I had some other topics for today. See if we can get to these now that we have a moment to do this, a little break in the action. And Dorsey, these are some questions even from some listeners that have come in just, over time, et cetera. One is do's and don'ts for e-brakes. When should you and should you not use an emergency brake? And maybe I should even preface that and say newer vehicles, e-brakes don't even work like they used to, do they?
Totally different.
Let's talk about that for a moment. And when the do's and don'ts, because it used to be in the old days, you wouldn't use an e-brake if you thought things were going to freeze outside water-wise, snow-wise, et cetera, because it would freeze the e-brake cable.
Right.
Now we have the advent of really not having an e-brake, quote-unquote, cable any longer, right?
Yeah, I had a car the other day that didn't have one. It's got an electric actuated e-brake.
Yep. So they're totally in. Now, every new car is not that way. There are still some cars and trucks. A lot of trucks still use a cable. But even later model vehicles, they've got the cables made so well now, and the way they work as far as what they're actually energizing for the emergency brake itself. Typically, it's not, because most everything now has calipers on all four wheels, not a drum brake system. They work, and explain that, Dorsey. They just work differently than they used to.
Well, most of those with four-wheel disc brakes have a separate set of emergency brakes inside the rear rotor, what we call the hat.
Right.
Which is right underneath the lug nut studs. So there's a set of miniature brake shoes in there that lock the rotor when you put the park brake on.
Right. Totally different than the way the old brakes used to work.
Totally different.
Yep. And then the ones that have the electric actuator, which, by the way, if you're driving a car, the best way to tell this is the regular style e-brakes with the cables, et cetera, typically still have some sort of a mechanism you either push on your foot with or you pull up in the center console, et cetera. The later model actuator-driven ones have a button that you engage to actually make the emergency brake work. If it's got a button, you know what? You can use it whenever you want to. Matters not. Doesn't matter if it's cold, warm, you name it. If you want to use the e-brake, use it, because it's a totally different system than the old cable-operated systems were.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of a rule of thumb. All right. As we get into these colder months, and we just went through a real cold spell, which, by the way, I know looking outside today, it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous and in the 60s, and it's November, but it's going to get cold again. It won't stay like this forever. What's the proper way to warm up a vehicle, Dorsey? And do you need to do the same warm-ups we used to in the old days?
No, you don't need to do many warm-ups, hardly at all. Most of the newer vehicles, say 1996 and up, with OBD2, are vehicles that, given the oil weight ratings that we're using in them and the types of oils and things, unless you want a nice, comfy, warm car to get into, you really don't need to warm them up.
Right.
If you are going to warm it up, I'd only start it up for just a few minutes, maybe a minute or two, to get the oil circulating a little and a little water circulating.
Yeah, anymore, it's really more of a, what do you feel comfortable inside the vehicle as far as warmth goes, more than the vehicle itself, because the engine, transmissions, etc., if anything, in the way, this is my view of it, probably the most important thing to get warmed up on the era that Dorsey's talking about is probably The steering itself, the power steering pump, etc., that's probably more of a need to get warmed up than the actual engine, transmission, etc. is.
Yeah.
Just because you can hear that pump whining, the fluid is thicker, and there's just more going on. You know, even on new cars, you can hear those that still have a power steering pump. You can hear those pumps whining, even on some brand new vehicles. And in my view, it's more of a warm up for that than anything else on the vehicle.
Yeah.
And if you've got seat heaters and all the other cool features that vehicles now have, the warm up time is minimal.
Yeah.
Just is, because you can be comfortable inside the vehicle in a matter of seconds instead of minutes.
If you're going to warm your car up 10 or 15 minutes every morning when it's below 40 degrees out, which a lot of people do, you're going to tank your gas mileage. Absolutely.
That's exactly right, because the vehicle's not moving and you're consuming fuel.
And that's the part of time when if a car is going to emit emissions, that's when it emits the most.
That's exactly right. When it's cold, it's the richest, because it's what it needs to run on. It's like the old days, or when you go start your lawnmower and you have to choke it to start with. Okay?
And unless you got a modern car that locks the doors and doesn't
remote
really
start and all that.
Yeah, it doesn't really turn all the electronics on.
Right.
You're going to have a safety hazard, and you're more apt to have your car stolen.
I agree with Dorsey. You just don't, the warm-up time is minimized. You just don't need to do it as much as you used to, even when it's below zero, 5, 10 below. Warm the thing up 2-3 minutes. It's really more for you being comfortable. Once you feel comfortable inside the vehicle itself's ready to go. It's more you than it is the vehicle at that point. The biggest thing I recommend to people is make sure that, you're dry when you get in, the defrosters are working. In other words, if you get in with wet hair in the mornings and you haven't got the vehicle warmed up, you're going to have some defrosting issues going on and things along those lines. But typically, if you're parked outside, if you start the car, get out the ice scraper, get the snow and the stuff cleaned off and so on, by the time you get back in,
it's ready to go.
You're ready to roll. So with that, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and we'll keep going. Lines are open, by the way. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Scott Watley is going to jump in, talk about what's going on Sportsman's of Colorado as soon as we come back right here on Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet One. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. At coloradoselect.org, I search my city and boom, I'm done. Colorado Select Auto Care puts their member shops through a rigorous set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. coloradoselect.org.
All right, and here we go again. Last segment, Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush, and Scott Watley just walked in along with Dorsey Johnson. So we'll take one call, then we're going to talk to Scott about what's coming up on Sportsman the Colorado. So we've probably got our biggest hunter inside of the Colorado Select group with us today, so I figured that was good timing. That worked out perfect. Jerry, welcome. What's going on with your Ford?
Well, it's my friends. They just recently bought an 06 Power Stroke. It's a 6.0.
Yeah.
It just seems you got to crank it a little longer to get it started. It cranks quite a while. I mean, they give it time for the glow plugs to kick, they had a 7.3 before that, and it always started right up. And
they should have kept their 7.3.
Wow, they wrecked it.
Too bad.
Insurance totaled it.
Got it. So how long has it taken them to start the 6-liter? Give me some, give me what you think.
I would say it's, probably it takes 10 seconds.
That's too long.
Yeah.
That means it's, and Dorsey can chime in, but that means it's either got a FICM issue of some kind, where it's just not getting all the right signals, or it's got something else going on. The voltage is low. That's another thing that can cause a 6-liter to take too long to start. Battery voltage gets down. They're finicky. If everything's not just right, that's what you'll experience.
Yeah. It seems to crank over pretty fast, and on cold mornings they plug it in for 2 hours to preheat it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to do that.
But it doesn't seem to.
Yeah.
So
somebody needs to get that in, look at it, check the FICM, check all the engine management sides of the fence. That's what I would call it on the 6-liter Ford. Make sure everything's functioning properly. There's lots of sensors and things that the 6-liter has to read to make sure things work right before it'll actually fire the injectors, which then, of course, makes it start.
Is that could be just a fuel filter? Or
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably.
I doubt it.
Probably not.
If it's running okay, once it starts, it's not a fuel filter.
Probably either fuel pressure or oil pressure.
Yep.
One or the other.
Fuel pressure, oil pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuel pressure, oil pressure. The FICM, which is on the engine itself, has to have the right voltage. If the voltage on it gets low, it can cause issues. Again, and by the way, everything we've talked about can be any of the above or more on a 6-liter.
Yeah, and you got to have the right scan tool to get all those readings down.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there anything that goes major wrong with the 6.0s versus the 7.3s? Or?
Where do you want me to start?
Yeah. If they had a good year, it was probably 06.
Yeah, that was the better of the years. That's right. 06, 07 were their 2 best years.
But they still have oil pressure issues, fuel pressure issues.
DGR cooler, injector issues.
A lot of injector issues. Yeah.
You name it.
FICM issues, wiring issues.
Okay.
So that's why you got to be able to put it on a laptop and map it all out and look at it and see what you got and kind of figure it out from there.
And I that's coming from Dorsey, who works on a ton of them. I still own 3 of them, and I've got 3 06s. So, I just kind of know through experience some of the things that you're talking about, and every one of the things we just mentioned can happen on any of them.
Did those have training problems too? Or?
No, they were pretty good as far as the transmission's concerned.
Pretty solid.
Better than the 7.3s were.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And the older 7.3s, because I'm kind of looking at buying a used one. But is there any certain year that was better for them?
They're all good.
Well, if you can just find one that isn't beat up and destroyed,
that's right.
in decent shape, they're hard to find.
99 to 02 are the best years for those. 02 being the best of all of them. If you can find an early 03, they're the best of all of them, but they're hard to find.
Yeah, they only made them half a year.
That's right.
In 03.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Jerry. Appreciate your phone call. And with that, we got about 5 minutes or so left of the show. Scott, I got to get this mic out of my way so I can see you. What's coming up on Sportsman's of Colorado?
Hey, John, first of all, thanks for giving me a few minutes, and hope everyone's having a beautiful man. It's a beautiful day.
Gorgeous
out
weekend.
there.
It really is.
I'm telling you, it is
Could
gorgeous.
have picked a better Thanksgiving as far as that goes. And I like Scott's pen here. Those of you on YouTube, hold that thing up where these folks can see that. He's got a bullet pen. That's awesome.
And actually, one of our guests today, Alan Stack with Stack Optical, made that pin for me.
That's
he
very
makes
cool.
these with a lot of cool things.
That is
So that's
awesome. I got to see that for a
Yeah,
second.
it rides great.
That is very
But on Sportsman
nice.
of Colorado today, we have Phil Mendoza. He's the owner of No Limits Archery. We have Trevin Stolfus. He's the host of Outback Outdoors TV, and
Which I know Stolfus very well. In fact, those of you on the automotive side of the fence, Trevin is still a hunter, so hunter alignment. He's still a hunter rep, still sells the equipment, etc. So he's very familiar with our side of the fence also.
Yep. So we got Trevin on to talk about his show and his hunts of this year. And then Alan Stack, as I mentioned, with Stack Optical. And Alan's doing something pretty cool. He is making sunglasses for hunting in all different shades. And if you need a prescription in them, he's making those. So let's say you're looking through a scope and you need that just at the lower bifocal area right there, or if you're one that looks high in your glass. So, I mean, very custom glasses.
You need to write this down and ask him this. We had a call earlier, and one thing that we're experiencing on the automotive sides of the fence is a lot of the the way the interiors of these vehicles, trucks, et cetera, are all made. When you're wearing sunglasses, it's hard to read the instrumentation in the truck, yet you need the sunglasses to actually look out and drive. So you need to ask Alan if there's something that could be made where you could wear those sunglasses, still see all the instrumentation, maybe a lighter tint lower where you look down and can, like a bifocal almost, where you could see everything, below eye level, but yet when you look out to drive, you've still got all of the
No, that's
all
very
the
true.
shading you need, because that's a big deal. We've had 2 calls today on that.
That is true. And, because you see the orange glasses, you see the yellow glasses, but,
Yeah.
they didn't fit everybody.
Right.
So what he's talking about, like the other day we were duck hunting, and man, the sun was just coming up, and this duck came in, and I had him when the background was against the land. The minute that background got against the water, I lost him. And so he's talking about these glasses that will illuminate,
pop that up,
the animal
Very
a little
cool.
bit more, your targets a little bit more.
Well, if there's anybody that can
that'd be
help us
pretty
out
cool.
on this other side of the fence, ask him. And if he
Sure
gets
will.
that, we need to get him on Drive Radio and talk about that.
Absolutely.
Because, I'm dead serious. Our first hour, we had a couple of phone calls. And I know from driving all these press cars I drive, even some with heads-up displays, I wear a really nice, pair of polarized sunglasses. The polarization kills what you can see instrumentation-wise, but yet I like them for when you're outdoors. So, side note for him.
Absolutely. I wrote it down. We'll
Awesome.
cover that.
All right, perfect. So what's going on in the, we got about 3 minutes left. Dorsey's a big, he's a upland bird hunter, duck hunter, et cetera. Just your side of the fence. What all do you talk about on Sportsman's of Colorado? Why should our Drive Radio guys hang with you for the next hour?
Well, first of all, we have a lot of great partners, just like you do. And most of the ones I have done business with. I mean, I've hunted with them. We've checked them out to make sure they offer a good experience and a safe experience. Let me add that. Because when you're out there with guns, you want to be safe.
That's right.
And so we have Waterfowl Haven Outfitters, Jim Arnold. He'll actually join us for a few minutes today and give us an update on waterfowl and what's going on out there. But our show is all about, and today's Small Business Saturday, by the way.
Oh, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to do that, so I'm glad you did.
So we really try to do business with the small mom and pop people. Because, hey, I shop at Cabela's, I shop at Bass Pro just like everybody else. But, those stores are probably going to make it no matter what. I like to help the small mom and pop shops.
Me too.
To get around. So, we've got a lot of great sponsors there, just Outdoors Manatic, Rampart Firearms, No Limits Archery, One Shot Gear, the Reloading Zone, and Discount Fishing Tackle on Santa Fe. So a lot of those are just those small mom and pop shops that offer a great service and will take care of you. And so get out and do some business with some
and
small
again, nothing
business,
against the big box stores like Scott was talking about. But, when you go in to buy, and I've bought some stuff from Reloading Zone, for example, and the ability to get that one-on-one attention that, no offense, I'm not bad-mouthing Bass Pro or Cabela's or any of the big guys, but it's just not the same.
Right.
It just isn't. You know, go to Cabela's and order a gun. Yeah, they can do it and all of that, but it's just a whole lot easier to call up one of your guys and make that happen.
Absolutely. So check out our website, sportsmanofcolorado.com. We have a resource guide on there from 2014, which is just about to expire, but we're putting out a new one for this year, which will start at the International Sportsman's Expo in January.
Awesome. Good stuff. I appreciate Scott. He's always got a great show, and it just dovetails so well. I know a lot of you guys listening. I know not every one of you that listen is a hunter or a guy that's out shooting and doing all those different things. But you know what? I know a lot of you are. And, even you car guys, a lot of you guys are hunters, fishermen, etc. Scott's show dovetails in so well. So, yeah, stay tuned. Don't go away. Continue to listen to him. If it's Sunday afternoon, Jervis DeChico is going to be on. He's with the Wealth Map. He comes on right after us. So continue to listen. And guys, with that, I hope you've all had a great Thanksgiving. We're very blessed. Dorsey Johnson, great friend of mine, great sponsor and support for Drive Radio. Thanks for joining us today. It's awesome.
No problem.
Always love having Dorsey on. Matt, my engineer. Larry Unger from Larry's Automotive on the other side of the glass. Also, this show would not happen without those other two guys on the other side of the glass. I appreciate them so much coming in, taking time out of their Saturdays. Larry especially, volunteering his time and helping us every single Saturday. Guys, with that, I'm going to get out of here. Let Scott take over, and we'll be back next week. And I'll be back on Monday, Rush to Reason at 2 p.m. every weekday, and then Drive Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. But God bless you. Have a great weekend, and we have a lot to be thankful for. So stay with us. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Drive Radio, John Rush, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com.